What up, what up, what up? It's your boy Phil All Caps of Morning Brew Sports, and we are back with the new episode of the Knicks Nightcap. Season 2. Things are a little bit different this season. Like it's fun to hang out and drink and talk Knicks, but it's a lot more fun to talk Knicks, have a drink, have a smoke when you're hanging out with people that you love and you get to just chop it up and you have an affinity for the guys that you're chilling with. And so I was like, man, all right, if I was hanging out right now talking Knicks and having a cigar or having a drink, who would I do this with? And instantly, who came to mind? The guy that's been rocking with me since day one, Mr. Eru over there to the right. And then I was like, all right, who else would I be chilling with? Well, if I'm having a cigar and a drink and I'm doing it online, I got to do it with somebody that I had just as much fun, if not more, doing it with in person. And that's my guy down there, Mr. Apollo. And then I was like, all right, who do I talk bourbon with all the time? Like, not just someone who drinks it and I'm like, man, you drink some trash, but someone who actually knows some good stuff and we can kind of kick it and bounce things off of each other. And that's none other than my guy, I-95 Bully, right down there. So I decided it was not just going to be Phil drinking and talking Knicks. It was going to be the guys just hanging around as if we were in a cigar lounge or a local bar talking about our favorite squad. So what is up, my guys? How you guys doing? Eru, let us know how you been, how you doing. Then throw it to Apollo and Bully.
I'm chilling, man. This is like my third podcast of the night, man. So there you go. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight about sleep and stuff, man. But nightcap is good. I got my little drink on the side. We'll talk about that when the time comes, man. But I'm with it, man. This is a lot of fun.
Man, and I'm good, man. I'm good. It's good to be on here with y'all, man. I'm a little tired. I had a long day at work, up on a lot of roofs dealing with ACs, but I'm here, man. I've been looking forward to this all day. I told my wife about it. She's like, "Yeah, can you go already? You've been talking about this shit all day." I'm like, "Listen, man, I'm just excited, bro." But yeah, man.
That's what's up. What's up, Bully?
Yo, everything's good, man. I'm excited to be here, man. When you hit me up for the opportunity, it was a no-brainer for me, man. I know the guys that's rocking with us today, man. I'm looking forward to getting some good, clean-hearted basketball talk, getting into the nitty-gritty, the nuts and the bolts. And I got to do it with my guy Phil. So, man, I'm happy to be here, man. Thanks for the opportunity, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this season. It's been a crazy day here, too. We started the Knicks Morning Brew this morning. Ian Begley came on and dropped so much gems. Shout out to Ian Begley for all that he does to this Knicks community. But, we got a lot to talk about tonight, guys. A lot has been happening. And so before we even talk whiskey, I want to jump into the first topic of conversation because I want to hit all the points that we want to talk about while enjoying our spirits. So what I want to talk about first is something we chopped it up with Ian about this morning. And it's the fact that we have been split. Like a lot of us have loved Tom Thibodeau with all of his flaws. Some of us wanted to crucify Tom Thibodeau because of all of his flaws. And then in the middle, there was a few people, and as certain things started to change, we started to see things be a little bit different with Tom Thibodeau. Like the things that a lot of us were upset with Tom Thibodeau about, he started to make those changes. Salute, Tibbs in the building. Appreciate you, my guy. We're talking about you right now. And so a lot of the things that we talked about with Tom Thibodeau and him being an old dog who couldn't learn new tricks, he started to show, all right, maybe I can, and throughout the season, more and more has changed. And with a roster that's been as depleted as it's been, the fact that we were still in the second seed is pretty crazy when you think about it, especially without our number 2 in Julius Randle. But in this last month, Tibbs has done things none of us, even the ones who love Tibbs, would have thought that he would have done. Some of the rotations, some of the players that he's put in, some of the changes in game that he's made. We always said he was a, pre-game coach, but he started making crazy decisions in game. And you're just like, holy crap, like the call to play Precious Achua the other night, in those last minutes of the fourth quarter, that was the complete game changer. So where do you guys feel Tom Thibodeau stands when it comes to being coach of the year? Because 3 months ago, I would have been like top 5, but now I would say he's in the top 2 based off of how he's coached in the last month. So I'll rock with you first, Apollo, and then we'll throw it over to Bully and Eru.
I mean, I'm always gonna go. I'm a hometown guy, so of course I'm always gonna go for Tibbs. To get that coach of the year. But I think he's earned it, man. Like you said, if it was a couple months ago, I'd have said top 5. But looking at this team with all the injuries that we've had for the past 2 to 3 months, and still to end up in the second seed and have these guys locked in and getting the adjustments and doing things that we didn't think he'd be doing at this point. Like a lot of people were talking about the adjustments that he hasn't made at certain points, but he's doing all those things now. He's hitting all those points. And yeah, man, I think if he's not in conversation for it, I think that's a tragedy. But I definitely I can see maybe 1 or 2 other coaches, but he has to be in the top 2 when it comes to coach of the year, in my opinion.
All right, so I appreciate your honesty, but I saw Bully make a little squint face, like he had some sour booze, and he didn't like the answer that I first gave about him being in the top 2. So where are you at with things, Bully?
No, I'm with you, but it's unfortunate the way they do that coach of the year ballot. You only get 3 names to put on there.
Yeah.
That's kind of unfortunate. If you want to tell me Tibbs is number 2, I mean, you can make an argument for number 1 based on what he's had to deal with this year. For me, number 1, I'd probably go, you can go make an argument for Jamal Mosley, coach for the Orlando Magic. And that's a pretty solid pick. But looking at the adversity of what the Knicks had to deal with throughout the entire season, you got to give him credit for that, and especially how the team finished, to end the season. If you compare to the way the Bucks finished, the way the Magic finished, even if they beat the Bucks twice, it's here nor there. But the way that the Knicks finished the year with the lack of personnel, and granted, you missed an All-NBA player. We missed Mitch, who we all thought was, Defensive Player of the Year candidate. So all the adversity that he's had to deal with, you can make a strong argument for number 2 for Tibbs.
Yeah. What about you, Ebru?
I muted myself. Yeah, I can't go against our own team, because I mean, Tom Thibodeau's our guy, so we could talk about him as badly as we want to, you know what I'm saying? But just from the optics look, just from year 1, the offense was Julius Randle and Bullock standing next to him like this. We go from that, and we were told that he had a read and react offense. It didn't make sense because of the personnel. But fast forward to now, we have everybody that works well with him, man. So you got to give him credit for sticking to his guns, what he envisioned for the team early on. Of course the front office too, man. But something's got to give. Either like coach of the year for him, MVP for Brunson would be nice, but also executive of the year for Leon Rose too. So it's a mixture of all of that, man. But just to keep it Tom Thibodeau, man, from the injuries and stuff that we had this season, and for us to finish the season with a second seed, I think that at some point somebody got to reward the Knicks for that. So I think coach of the year will be nice for Tom Thibodeau to seal that off.
Yeah, and if you think about it, one thing that Ian pointed out was he won the award his first year here. But if you look at the coaching job, he's by far done a better coaching job this year than he did then. And so if you look at it, there are other coaches that did amazing things. Shout out to, Mets Knicks fan, let's go. He said, coach from OKC got it. And that's who I would say is the coach that will most likely win it. Is Mark? I always struggle saying his name. Daigneault, Daigneault or whatever. Yeah. But if you look at it, he got it, which you got to give him credit because he's working with a lot of young guys and won All-Star in SGA. But what he hasn't figured out or had to deal with is the adversity that Thibodeau's had to deal with. That's the one thing that people have to realize is that at any given time, we had multiple guys injured, even to the point where our main guy, Jalen Brunson, was injured for a period of time, So it's one of those things where you have to look at not just did they coach well, but what did they coach well with? Like what was it that they were given to rock with, And so you got to give him his kudos there because what he's done in, like Ebru was saying, is look at their offense right now. Like this is a team that we thought there was no offense. Like even until, the RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly trade, we thought it was just going to be ISO. We switched that up and all of a sudden we actually have an offense. We all of a sudden don't just crucify Tibbs saying, hey, you're supposed to be a defensive coach. Why can't we guard the 3-point line? Now we're in the top 10 of both offense and defense in the league. Like who else has really done both sides of the court that way. So shout out to Tibbs for that. Before we continue on, we'll give a shout out to everybody in the chat. We got my guy Andios NYK. Appreciate you, my guy, for always being here. Bobby Woodruff asking if we're going to have open panel. Yes, we will. In a little bit, we will have an open panel. Shout out to my brother in the back, Jiggaman Porto, always behind on the ones and twos and the graphics. Hardest working guy in the industry. Don't care what anyone says. Shout out to my guy, Eddie Presti. I freaking love that guy. Shout out to the Whites. Shout out to Mets, Knicks fans. Let's go. Appreciate you. My guy, Johnny Jimenez, always representing and killing it out here. We got the big fella. What up, big fella? Who else we got up in here? Great Britain. Appreciate you. Shout out to Tom Thibodeau in the building. We love you, Tom. Shout out to our guy, Crackle Nuts, always here representing as well. My guy, Jonathan, one of the best moderators in the game. I don't know this name, but Tim King of Jordans. What's up? Appreciate you. Thanks for being here. Namar, thank you so much for being here. Xavier, thank you so much as well. So shout out to everyone in the chat right now. We got 120 plus rocking with us. If you can, do us a favor, hit a retweet, hit a repost on Instagram. Let's get people in here. I know my guy Nickinator is also doing something right now. Didn't know he was going to be doing it, but shout out to my guy Nickinator, always killing it. When you're done, come have a drink with us and let's chill. But let's go before the next topic. I want to know what's in y'all's cup tonight, all right? Because being that it's going to be talking about some whiskey and stuff like that, I want to know what you guys got. So I'll start with you, Apollo. Let the people know what you got in your cup and why it's something you enjoy.
I got me some Honey Jack. That's
Okay.
it's my second favorite. I don't have my
Okay.
first. I don't have any more of my first favorite right now, which is actually Crown Royal. But I got some Honey Jack here with me, and it gets the job done. It's not as strong as the original Jack Daniels, but it gets a nice little sweet taste to it. Gets the job done.
Right. So be on the lookout soon. If you like Honey Jack, I'm gonna open your eyes to some real Honey Barrel. All right, there's a brand called Short Barrel, and they just released a bunch of series of their honey, aged in honey barrels, and they have different stores that have picked different ones. And one of the stores out here in Florida picked by far one of the best honey barrel drops that I've ever had. And I've had quite a few honey barrels. So I'm going to send you a sample of that because I think you would freaking love that.
Yeah, please do that. Please do that. I'm looking out for that. Appreciate you, my guy.
All right, Bully. Let's hear what you got, my guy.
Man, you know me, bro, man. I got some Basil Hayden Dark Rye. And yeah, cheers. Basil Hayden Dark Rye is very, very spicy on the front palate. Very spicy. I got some lemon zest in it with a little bit of smoked lemon zest in there as well, and some orange zest in there just to give a little bit of a liqueur feel to it, but without all the sugar. You know what I'm saying? I got a little bit of shaved cinnamon in there as well. It's pretty good. Pretty good. But that's probably one of my top 5 bottles is Basil Hayden Dark Rye.
Okay. So if you like deep ryes, I got some samples for you as well.
Yes, sir.
A lot of bourbon fans that I'm friends with, they don't really like the rye because it's got a little more spice than bourbon has a little more sweetness. Yeah. But me, I personally love rye. I love the kick that it comes with, and when it's paired with the right flavor profile, there's nothing better than a good rye. Especially on a cold night. There's nothing like it. So
you probably like James Pepper, the brand James Pepper.
I'm not huge on them. So some of my favorite ryes, which I'll be sending all of you guys a sample of this. Michter's Barrel Strength Rye is one of the best barrel strength ryes that are out there. And so just it's got the punch, but it's also got the sweetness at the end. So that's one of my favorite ryes. Rare Character puts out some incredible ryes. Who else? Sagamore puts out incredible rye. So there's quite a few. So I'll definitely include some in the samples that I send you for sure.
Yes, sir.
So what about you, Iru? What you got, my guy?
Well, for me, it's not really what's in the cup. It's what the cup is. Look at this. Look at that thing on the back of that cup there. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Let's go.
That's what I'm
After
saying.
dark.
That is Iru for sure, right there.
That
for me,
is hilarious.
For me, I got my drink in the coffin still. This my sister got this for me when she turned 21. So it's like her first bottle of liquor that she ever bought. So I keep it with me here, just because I love my sister or whatever, man. So this is Jack Daniel's Maplewood finish. So
Okay,
it's decent.
nice.
You know, it's not like regular Jack. It's not like the honey Jack is more of like it has like a dry kind of taste to it. But I like
Okay.
it. You know, so I'll be messing with that tonight.
So you probably got a
That's
lot of
what's up.
barrel taste in there, like a charred barrel taste a little
Yeah,
bit.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah,
That's
nice.
what you
what's
get
up.
from it.
That's nice.
All right, so I'll real quick. I'll share what I got. And it's a really funny story on it. So this right here, all right, this is from my favorite brand out there. They're called Rare Character, and they do things a little bit different. They have like one or two things that they have in all stores, like their Fortuna is one of their brands, and then their Exceptional series. But most of theirs are barrels that stores pick. So stores get a bunch of samples. They pick what's the best flavor profile for their store, and that's a Rare Character release just for their store. And so they can come, depending on the barrel, you taste it, you pick it, you could wind up with only 30 bottles, or you could wind up with like 80 to 100 bottles. Just depends at the end of the process what actually happens. But once it's gone, it's gone. So when you find something that you love, people buy 3, 4, 5, because once it's sold out, it's gone. And then people are reselling it for like 4 or 5 times the cost, kind of like a pair of J's or Dunks or whatever,
That's
because
crazy.
they can't get it somewhere else. Yeah, so it's secondary. So this is one of those bottles that became secondary. But I got it. It's from a company called Brown Jug, and they're out in Alaska. And so I heard about it, heard it was incredible. It's one of their Rio series and one of the last Rios they were putting out. And I found that my homeboy had just moved to Alaska. So he ended up taking Ubers to like 3 different ones, because the first one that told me that they were holding a bottle for me, he showed up and they were like, "Oh no, it's for a private event. We can't sell it to you now." And so
wow.
he Ubered all around Fairbanks, Alaska to buy me this bottle, and it cost more for him to ship it than it did for me to actually buy the bottle. So I paid pretty much double for the bottle because of the shipping. So, but
That's
it's
crazy.
incredible. Rare Character is incredible. If you like whiskey, check them out. There's tons of spots in New York. They got different releases throughout the year, so check them out. And I'm pairing it right now with this bad boy that I'm about to light up. It's an Arto Fuente Opus X, and it's one of my favorite cigars. Goes for about 38, 40 bucks, but it's an incredible smoke. So
What's the leaf
but
on
yeah,
the cigar?
so it's Arturo Fuente, so they switch it up. They don't ever really say what it is, but it's a mild to medium body cigar. So it's good for like a chill night, like for me, I'm not trying to, if I'm smoking at night, I'm not trying to go to bed feeling like, I ate a whole ashtray. So when people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm going to have a cigar and then go to bed," and they're pulling out like the darkest cigar I've ever seen in my life, I'm like, your life sucks. Like that's going to suck in about an hour. So it's a mild to medium, and that's what we rocking with. So shout out to everyone else that's showing up in the chat. We got Rocks NYK Hot Takes. Appreciate you for showing up. We got Steven Tone. What up? Appreciate you. But let's move on to some more Knicks talk, guys. All right. So before we talk about the game tonight and what that means for us, we've been asking everybody on Born and Brew and in our fan base, who is your MVNBP, your most valuable non-Brunson player on the New York Knicks? Because obviously, if we're going to go with most valuable player on our team, we know that it's Brunson. But outside of the obvious, who would be your most valuable non-Brunson player? And I'll start with you on this one, Billy. Bully, all you.
Oh, I'm my fault. That's a tough one. I'm gonna lean. My heart says to go Hartenstein, but I'm gonna go Devo. Because basically what DiVincenzo. Because to see him go from a number 4 option throughout his career, to see him be a number 2 on a title contending team, that's a lot. And the volume that he's putting up, top threes, and 3-point percentage and 3-point makes. And honestly, without him, of course, with Brunson, he's the straw that makes that stirs the drink. But if you look at Dante, he really is providing that floor spacing that we need, and at the volume that he's doing it at is unheard of. 40 minutes, 40 minutes, 40 minutes. And I think without him, defenses are going to be able to collapse on this, at least with that starting 5. Because if you have Josh Hart out there, he's a non-spacer. So for me, I'm going to go with Devo, because we saw glimpses of this before he got hurt. before he got traded, from Milwaukee. He was showing a little bit of this, but I didn't see this coming. I know he had, good ball skills, a great off-ball defender, number 3, number 4 on-ball defender, but to see what he's been able to do to play alongside of Brunson, I gotta give it to Devo.
Yeah. All right, that's what's up. All right, Eru, who's yours?
Yeah, Devo's a good choice too, man. One thing about Devo too, like him playing defense and also rebounding, doing everything, he sacrifices his body a lot too. Which is incredible. Outside of all the finesse stuff that he can do, he's very physical out there. The way that he plays. So I definitely gotta give his hat to that. But just the transition, the physicality, I think Josh Hart, I gotta give it to him. Because him getting those rebounds, starting fast breaks and stuff like that, a lot of that starts a lot of the things that we do. And then just like say Hartenstein, he feeds off of him, and these guys they box out, and then Josh Hart, it leaves the loose ball, like the weak side rebounds open for Josh Hart. And I think those are those games, that really break open when he has those big rebounding games and stuff. Like he said in the playoffs, I make rebounds, they break teams and that type of stuff.
Mhm.
But he really does do that, man. So I'll give it to Josh. Just simple for that, and for like his emotional I guess leadership too. Keeping guys energy up. His energy is always on 100. All business. All the guys are like that though. But if I could pick somebody, it would be Josh Hart.
Okay. All right, Apollo. Before I go, I want to hear your take.
Well, first off, there's no wrong answer in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think all of these guys are just as valuable to the team. My personal selection would be Josh Hart. He's from the moment he was traded here, like the team culture changed. You know what I mean? And I think that's big ever since he was here. And I know that goes back to last year. We went on a 9-game winning streak as soon as we got him. You know what I mean? I think he's just what he brings to this team is what you need guys to bring in their role, and just understand. Like he teases Brunson all the time about, he doesn't pass the ball, he doesn't this, he doesn't that. But at the end of the day, he knows that his job, he knows his job, and he understands Brunson's job. You know what I mean? And you need guys like that who selflessly just go out there and play, and they know their role, and they do their job, man. So I got to give it to Josh Hart. Like I said, there's no wrong answer here, personally.
Yeah, and what's kind of crazy is that we actually are in a season where we can say that we could say that there's no wrong answer. Like, how many years have we watched the Knicks and been like, do we even have a valuable player? Let alone the second most valuable player. And so all of those are great answers. With Dante, he has stepped up immensely, and brought a lot to this team that we need. In those nights where we were just like, where are we going to get points outside of Brunson? He stepped up to that call. Then like like Eru said, Josh Hart being that glue guy, like at times where certain things would have fallen apart if it wasn't for his last minute diving play to save the ball and give us that second chance effort to get the last basket that we need to win a game. Hartenstein, absolutely blew all of our minds, when he came into his position. Like we thought, you look on the timeline when Mitch went down, how many people on Knicks Twitter said, there's the season, we're done. And all of a sudden, we're a better offensive team and pretty dang good defensively with our backup center.
Better.
So better, exactly.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so he rose to the call, so he could definitely fit that as well. But I'm going to go with OG Anunoby. And I know that he's been injured and stuff like that. But if you look at it, in the games that OG has played, we are a different lineup. We are completely different. Like, if you look at it, we went from a team that could give it to their all-star player and make us suffer all game to now their all-star players are locked down and the other guys can actually defend their own guy because OG is a lockdown defender and can put anybody in prison. So there's no need for Jason Tatum to have 3 defenders on him because all we need is OG and a little fake of a second, double team.
Right.
So he totally changed us defensively, but he also freed up how we played offense. Like, look at after that trade, the way that he would cut, the way that he would open himself up on the 3, the way that he would actually create pick and rolls that worked for Brunson. All those things really, really changed the demographic of how we played offense and defense. It made all the defenders around us better. Like, look at all the players and how their defense improved playing alongside OG Anunoby. Like, so for me, I got to give it to OG. I know he probably hasn't played enough games for people to like say that he can deserve it, but I don't really care. I'm looking at what he has done and what could happen. And so with that, we have a lot of people that could win that award. But I want to pour one out real quick, but don't really pour it out because we got good whiskey in our cups. But theoretically, like, hyperbole, we pour one out for our guy, Dante DiVincenzo. Because speaking of awards, most improved player is something he should have been in the running for. But as of 9 seconds differential from him playing in a game, he cannot win that award. So shout out, our hearts go out to our guy, Dante DiVincenzo. We are super, super sorry for what you have to go through with that. So what are you guys' thoughts on that real quick before we go to the next topic?
It's garbage. I mean, you already have the games limit, and I don't get that because they don't do that for all the awards. Believe it or not, I think the rookie awards, they don't do that for the all rookie teams. They don't do that whole minutes thing. I think the games played should have been enough. And someone made a point. I think it was Fred Katz on his podcast of Catch and Shoot, where the team should be able to apply for a waiver if it's something like that at 9 seconds. But I don't think like the owners would ever go for that, because that means, once you bake these incentives into their contracts, that's money that they have to pay out. But it's a travesty because, I mean, it was, to me, in my opinion, it was up to him, Maxey, and Kobe White. That would have been my three on the not in any order, but that would have been the three for me. But to see what he's been able to do, particularly in the second half of the season, if you look at where he ranks at in defensive win shares, offensive win shares, his on-off numbers, they're through the roof. They're through the roof. And to do it on the volume and the usage with the minutes, it's just a travesty that it's a sham. It's a joke in my opinion, at least.
All right. What about you, Apollo?
Yeah, mic drop.
Right. I mean, personally, I feel like, Dante said today that he didn't know about it until they mentioned it today. When they say that, I always feel like it's a little bit of bullshit. Like, come on, you knew.
The agent knew.
Yeah, the agent knew. So somebody had to know. But I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's for it to be 9 seconds. The timing of it, I can see if his game's played, but for it to come down to how much time you actually played, I'm like, now, like, what are you doing? Like, you're doing a little bit too much to have a breakdown. I think that, they have those things there so they can have a little bit more control of how the outcome goes sometimes. But, I mean, it is what it is. I think the good thing about Dante was he wasn't going for that. You know what I mean? Like, that's just who Dante is. That's just how he plays. And that's what I loved about the signing when we first got him. Was like, a lot of people were like, yo, I'm not sure about this. This is not the star. We got other guys making star moves, and we're not gonna. I'm like, listen, this guy brings the intangibles you need. You know what I mean? So, honestly, I think, he should have got it, especially with the opportunity. He probably won't get that opportunity for a little while because, a lot of that was due to the fact that Julius was out, and hopefully we won't have to deal with that again if he's here again next year. But it's just, I doubt that Dante was looking for that, and I appreciate the fact that that's just how he plays. So I mean, like, it sucks, but whatever. These guys, they keep giving these guys chips to put in their shoulders, so they'll learn.
That's what's up. All right, Iru.
Well, I'm disappointed to hear 9 seconds. I didn't even know that was the thing. So I'm like, I'm hearing that for the first time. So I'm like pissed kind of about it.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA, I think a lot of times with the rules that they make, I think they do too much, man. Sometimes,
yeah.
Even down to like the littlest thing, even just calling calls in the court and stuff, it's just annoying, man. So I feel bad for him. But just like Apollo said, I don't think that he cared. I don't even think that he even knew until somebody mentioned it to him. Really, you know what I'm saying? I know the 3-point record. He was into that, but as far as most improved player, I don't really think he cared too much about that. I wanted to shout out Jalen Williams from OKC. He might be in the mix too. Because he's definitely much improved. I didn't know he was that good. For a team that for a major part of the season, they were like the best team in the West for a little part of the season. So you got to give him a little credit for that too.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that sucks for Dante.
Yeah. The fact that it was 9 seconds, if it was like 2 minutes, 3 minutes, I'm like, all right, but the fact that it was seconds, they could have, pulled him a few seconds later, like, and they didn't know. No one's keeping track of 9 seconds, like you know when you're about to break a scoring record, you know you're one basket away from that. But to be like, oh, I got to stay on the court for 9 more seconds, Tibbs, so I could be in contention for this, no one would have known that. So I think that's a little bit ridiculous. But what I want to do real quick, we're going to switch it up a little bit. One thing that's always been part of Knicks Nightcap is music. And so I wanted to give a shout out to my guy, Sky Zoo. He released his Blue and Orange Everything video this week. And I had the honor of actually providing all the crowd footage of the fans going crazy in the streets from last year's playoffs. And so I'm looking forward to being able to capture footage like that again. But he released his video, so we're going to give him his shine real quick and play a few seconds of the video. Shout out to Nelson. Shout out to Ron, John, still Knicks fans, everybody else in the building. Double A, my guy, appreciate you coming out. Regular Joe, what up, what up, what up? Ooh, small batch. Appreciate you, Joe. Always good stuff in your glass. So here we go. Sky Zoo, Blue and Orange Everything.
Yeah, one time for the city. Yeah, same aura as before. The smoke got blowing orange laws, meaning you pursue at your own cost. Last of a breed to do it how we was taught. Gods in the rafters covering you and yours. Gather round the world's most famous battlegrounds. Infamous enough where the havoc will do you proud. If you're not cut from it, it get harder to breathe it. In a concrete jungle with the garden is eating. Yeah, where one poster can hang you with a great speed. Where you can run up on whoever has an 8 seed. Or freeze up South Beach from off the line. Or 4-point plays in Easter overtimes. Let it bang. Serenade round of applauders. Center of attraction like a Hoya. Catch us with a dog in the fight for whoever should play the yard. Christmas went from St. Nick to St. Bernard. Right? We'll stand up for the legacy that the city knew. And then respond by giving the city 62. And stay mellow, knowing who among us. The crossover had 33rd like the Rucker. Hit for the cage, Dykeman and Roy Wilkins in Fort Greene Parks all in the building, right? It's one team in the city, let them know what it is. Empire state of mind, aiming over the bridge. Talk to us. Blowing orange everything, everything. Blowing orange everything.
Shout out to my guy, Sky Zoo. That song is a freaking banger. I love that guy.
He loved him so much he had to leave.
Yeah, looks like we lost him, man. You guys want to hop in on that?
I'll let that. He's there. He is.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
No. Give your thoughts though. Yeah, because I love the track, but that's the homie. So what are your guys' thoughts about Sky Zoo being one of the true, actual New York Knicks fans putting on for the hip hop community as well?
Yo, it was crazy for me, man. I came across Sky Zoo like in the Knicks tape season, like back in like 2013 or something like that. He dropped the song Range Rover Rhythm. Like when I heard that, I'm like, yo, who is this dude? And if you can look at him, his artistry, it kind of reminds me of Master Ace a little bit. Like if you go back to the Master Ace album, like a Brooklyn Story, it kind of has like that vibe to him. But man, something about his beats and his flow, like it gives me like jazz rap era, like Native Tongues, early 90s Tribe era. So I'm a big fan of his, man. The guy got bars, beats, flow, and rhythm. He's an A for me. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, it was funny because he goes back to the days of 106 in Park when he actually battled my guy MC Jin. And I was watching
Rough Rider Jin.
Rough Rider Jin. So when Jin was on his like peak, he went and he battled Jin. And honestly, I love Jin. Jin's my guy. Like we actually did a song together. It never got released because I ended up in the hospital, but I still have it on my computer. But that's my guy. But I think Sky Zoo torched him. The only reason Sky Zoo didn't win it was because one of his lines, he actually dissed Free and dissed all the hosts of 106 in Park. He dissed how he dresses and stuff like that. So it was pretty hilarious. But yeah, so Sky Zoo, is killing it. So shout out to all the artists, all the MCs that are doing things in the community. We appreciate you guys. We see you guys. If you guys can, purchase their merch. Like, independent artists do not get paid off of record sales.
Facts.
You know, it's all the independent stuff that they do. So please support them. Me and Sky Zoo do have a track coming out before the end of the year together that I'm really, really looking forward to. I just got to stop being lazy and finish writing. So shout out to Sky Zoo for also being super patient. But let's talk, because this morning we kind of went at it with Eddie about like what is the route that we want to go for the playoffs. And for me, I was saying everyone thinks that the 76ers are the better team. So for me, I want to be battle tested in the playoffs. I don't want anyone to be able to have an asterisk next to us. I want it to be that we beat the best, and we made it to beat the best. And so I wanted the Sixers. Eddie said, no, I think Miami's the easier route. I want Miami. I would have rather had the Pacers and had an easy first, and I'm like, no, I don't want the easy way. But now we don't have the easy way. We just watched the game. We are playing the 76ers, which honestly to me, it kind of looked like they were going to get torched throughout the whole game. You know, that first half was ugly. Embiid did not look good at all throughout that whole game. Shot like 35%. So that's kind of refreshing for us. Like, bring that kind of Embiid to us, and we're fine with you choking in the playoffs again. But what are your guys' thoughts on, you know, first round starting this Saturday, us against the 76ers? I'll start with you, Eru. How do you think we fare against this squad?
Well, I think with Philly, I think we can kind of put things in autopilot for the most part. If Tom Thibodeau likes to pack the paint, he likes to set a wall kind of like by the free throw line. So that's where Embiid likes to operate. So right off the bat, our simple defense it fits right into what we like to do normally. As far as getting out on the shooters, they do have shooters and stuff like that. So I think that will always be the issue. But I think as far as effort and things of that nature, I think the Knicks just have the better effort players. I just think that getting out on our shooters, they're gonna have to do that for us. And they were very lazy today against Miami, even though they did win the game. So I think everything that Philly does, if this plays right into our hands, I'm not afraid of Embiid at all. Like getting the ball and taking over games, stuff like that. I just don't think that he has, especially with him being injured like that. I just was never afraid of the way that he scores the basketball, man. So I like Hartenstein and our centers that to play defense on him. So it really just about Tom Thibodeau's adjustments to start the game, and how we if he can continue to build on that in that second half, we should be able to sweep through this club pretty easily to me. Much respect to them, but we should be able to win the series with them. I'm not really afraid of this team.
Okay. What about you, Apollo? What are your thoughts? Do you think that it should be, like Eru thinks, a pretty easy matchup? Where do you think that we have to make sure we step up? Like, what is the thing that could hinder us from, taking the 76ers?
I mean, well, it's the thing that's plagued us for damn near centuries is guarding a three. As long as we can guard the three, I think we're good. Personally, I think that's the only thing that'll get us in trouble in most of these series is just guarding the 3-point line. I think once we defend the paint well, we pass the ball, we play unselfish basketball. I'm truly not worried too much.
Yeah, we
did talk about this on my show the other day, Phil, and of course you put a little bit of fear in my heart when it came to Philly. But at the end of the day, I do think that Tom Thibodeau is the kind of guy you put him in the trenches and he'll develop the right game plan for these guys, and as long as they follow suit with it, I think they'll be fine. Personally, but like I said, as long as we guard the three, we don't let guys like Maxey get hot. We don't leave Embiid open. As you've seen tonight, one of the biggest shots that what happened was, Embiid was left wide open at the top, and you can't let that happen because, these guys are ready for that kind of situation. But at the end of the day, I think we pretty much have it locked up in terms of what we can do defensively, especially with OG out there. You got Josh, you got Dante, and just how they just run around and help each other defensively. I love how they stay on the string, all of them. They just move around together. So I think as long as we defend the three, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
Eru kind of stole my thunder a little bit. I don't know if you saw while you were talking, but like I knew we were doing this show today, so I went back and I watched, the teams that play a similar style of defense as the Knicks do, and I watched a lot of Heat Sixers games, and I watched all the Magic and Sixers games. And to Eru's point, at least since he's been back from injury, if you look at least on the numbers side of it, Embiid's been taking a lot of 3-point shots. And since he's been back, not counting this game, he's played one game where he's had like 35 minutes or more. So he's still not fully back yet. But to Iru's point, if you look at where he likes to operate, it's usually free throw line extended. I tweeted it the other day. I'll retweet it for the guys in the comments as well. He likes to pass with his back to the basket, and it's usually to the corner. It's usually Maxey or Oubre there in the corner. And if you look at Oubre, I mean, he's 30%, 3-point shooter this year. I'm not worried about him. I would let him shoot his threes. And if you're gonna have Embiid and he's taking more threes than twos, or a lot of his work is becoming, beyond the arc, that's a win for me. I would gladly accept that. And if you look at what Miami did today, it's hard to get into a two-man game when someone is playing a zone against you. So I hope Tibbs is watching that, because when Miami went to that zone, they could not get into their two-man game, because usually, you break a zone, you go to the middle of the floor, but it's hard to do that when you have, a 300-pound behemoth there who's not quick, not agile. And if you look at, OG and Dante, if you want to make cross-court passes or skip passes, good luck. Good luck doing that against those two. And don't forget, having McBride come off the bench, who's also an off-ball hawk. If you look at, Dante, OG, they're leading the league. They're at the top of the league in terms of like deflections per like 100 possessions, something like that. But they're up there. So to Iru's point, what they want to do kind of plays into what we want to do. And to a point that you made earlier, Phil, about, Precious and, why he got those minutes in the game that he got, against the Bulls, which was pretty interesting, because if you look at that matchup, Vooch always tortures Mitch. It's not a good matchup for him. So I kind of want to see, I'm looking forward to seeing Precious versus Nicholas Batum, because if you look at just the game that was played today, they kind of struggle with Embiid off the floor. And one thing that we struggle with as a defense, and this is with OG, those small shifty guards, keeping them out of the paint. As long as we can keep Maxey out of the paint, I will gladly concede threes to Embiid and Oubre. I go Knicks in 6.
Okay. Yeah, and so one thing I want to point out, shout out to everybody in the chat right now. We got 192 plus rocking with us. So shout out to everybody in the chat right now. But my guy Crackle Nuts, he said something about Randall, which we'll talk about next. Trying to find it. I thought it was Crackle Nuts, but a lot of people are saying like, hey, don't sleep, on the 76ers. And I think that's something Miami did today, though. I think Miami slept on the 76ers. And they focused on Embiid when they realized Embiid was a shell of himself. I think they took their foot off the gas a little bit. And that's why you saw guys like Batum torch them. Like, Batum should not be hitting three-pointer after three-pointer after three-pointer against your squad when you're fighting to stay in the NBA playoffs. Like, that's not something that should happen. So I think that's something that, luckily for us, is we don't really have guys that have taken their foot off the gas ever since we made all of our trades. Like, everybody that plays for us is playing wholeheartedly. The only guy that was kind of still in that like limbo thing was Alec Burks, and he hasn't seen minutes in games, which is a blessing.
Yeah.
And so, so I don't think we have to worry about that necessarily. But, to Nelson's point, Embiid is, 75% healthy right now. Miami letting them get back in the game was comical. I agree. But still, I don't want to go into the game with that mindset either. The mindset of Embiid is 75% healthy, because if Embiid,
he's an MVP
like at all, yeah, even at 75%, if he hits and starts getting hot early, luckily, for Miami, he didn't really start playing any good game until the fourth quarter. But if he starts doing that even a quarter before, Miami would have gotten blown out, So
right.
The fact is, we can't go in with the idea of he's only 75% healthy. We have to go in there as if he's 110% healthy and play that way, so that no matter what, no matter how hot he gets in a game, it does not matter. We can take him out, and we can take out the rest of the squad as well. So I think that's the key, is not to take them lightly. I think, they have a ton of scorers, Luckily for us, our defense is leaps and bounds to what it was at the start of the season, and now we can actually defend those scores. But we still have to play it tight. Any player on that team, from Buddy Hield to even old man Lowry, if they get hot, they can be a problem. So we definitely got to make sure that we keep, our defense up to par. I know we can score on them. I don't think that's going to be a problem at all. I think the problem is that we need to make sure that we're playing them physical, but not getting into foul trouble, and that we stop them from scoring, because one of them gets hot, it can be a problem. So, but I think we take it. I think, if it goes 6 games, I'd be surprised. I think we can beat them in 5. Honestly, that's something that I really do believe when it comes to this 76ers squad.
So one thing that blew my mind, because we were talking about Tibbs earlier, and to me, Nick Nurse is Tibbs adjacent. I mean, he in some cases, like when it comes to rotations and things like that, he's worse than Tibbs from 2 years ago. If you go back to last year, I want to say like the last 2 months of the year, he was running a 7-man rotation to save his job. And you look at what he did tonight. I think Buddy Hield got 4 minutes in the first half. He ended up getting like 14 minutes in the second half or something like that. And it's like, I don't trust Nick Nurse in the big moment, for him to handle his rotations. Like, you traded for Buddy Hield for moments like this, and he plays 4 minutes in the first half and you couldn't score. So I don't trust Nick Nurse at all.
Yeah,
he's emotional. He's an emotional wreck, right?
Yeah.
But that's one of those things that we also have to be careful with, because they come from the same, batch of coaching era, and they had a lot of similarities. So this is one of those things where we're giving Tibbs all this praise for the season. This is where he can't result back to his old ways. Like, he can't go back to, the Tibbs that, we saw in the playoffs last year, or, like in the season.
Mention Quentin Grimes.
Yeah. Like, we got to make sure that this is the Tibbs that we've seen the last 2 months. So I hope, that he can continue that, because if so, I think it ends a lot of narratives that even I had, I wanted to see him be a playoff coach. Up until this point, he's never really won anything past what he's already done for us in his whole time in the playoffs, So for me, I want him to do it. I want it to be this year. I want this season to be one of those that takes him, Jalen Brunson, OG, Dante further than any of them have ever been in their careers. So let's hope. But moving on to the next topic. All right. I want to talk about where's that right here? Our keys to the game. Like, let's look at the 76ers key pieces. All right. So if we go through piece by piece, I think in every position we could say, except maybe, the center position, but with him being 75% healthy, it can be even. But I believe every position from top to bottom, we could say we have the better player than the 76ers do. Like, if you look at roster to roster, like, is there anybody that we can look at on their roster that we could say they've got us beat in that department?
Well, I mean, the obvious is Embiid, but even then, I think we just have the bodies that can get at him. You know what I'm saying? So,
I said the only reason that one's close is because his 75% healthiness. And we've seen when he was healthy, iHeart be one of the only guys that was able to stop him at the rim, like straight up block and kick his teeth in, like at the rim. And that's when Embiid was healthy. So, like, what are their key pieces that you really think can be a problem for us? How about that? Because for me, I think the hidden factor for them, if he gets hot, could be Kelly Oubre. Like, he's the one for me that I think that if Kelly Oubre finds a flow in a series, it could be a problem, which kind of pisses me off, because all summer I was saying that we should get him because he was going for pretty much nothing, and everyone told me I was an idiot, and now he's having the best season of his career. But that's my guy that I think is a key piece. Who do you guys think is the key piece that can make this a hard thing for us when it comes to the 76ers?
A guy that he's pesky and he loves the playoffs is Kyle Lowry. And you know what I mean? I'm not saying he's gonna have a 20 and 10 game. Nah, he's not that kind of guy, but when the game is close and it's late, if there's a 2-3 possession game, that's the kind of guy you don't want on the other side, because he'll do anything to get the ball back. You know what I mean? He does anything for the 50-50 ball. He has the veteran presence. You know what I mean? But I'm not worried about Kyle Lowry. You know what I mean? But I do think that his experience in playoff situations, in certain moments, not full game, you got to worry about him, but in certain situations, he's willing to dive on the floor, make that second chance, and just do whatever the hell it takes. But honestly, I mean, the fact that the only guy I can think about is Kyle Lowry, I think we're pretty good. I think we're in a good spot.
Yeah, I'll say, and that's a good pick, because, like, to me, like, Kyle Lowry is what Chris Paul was supposed to be for the Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw, like, in this game, he was trying to set the tone.
Right.
You know, like when he ran back from the free throw line, it reminded me of the We Here season where Randall was running back from free throw lines trying to guard Giannis. So that's a good pick for me. I'm gonna go Buddy Hield, because we constantly talk about the non-Brunson minutes, and that's gonna be a big matchup for Deuce. Like if you look at this game, Buddy Hield got 20 minutes. So I kind of wonder, like, what does Tibbs do with Buddy Hield? And he's a 40% shooter. He's been one of the best 3-point shooters, past handful of seasons since his days with the Kings. So I'm looking at that matchup, and I'm like, with Deuce, like, I love Deuce. He's been in a little shooting slump from deep lately, but I want to see if he's able to lock down, Buddy Hield. He's certainly capable, but this is the playoffs. It's different. So I got to see show improve. So for me, Buddy Hield is the one guy that I'm really locked in on. And for your pick, Phil, that was a guy I was going to go with, was Kelly Oubre. Coming in at 6'7", those guards like that, they usually give us problems. Even if you stick a Josh Hart on him at 6'7", Josh Hart 6'4", it could be a tough matchup for him. He could just shoot over the guy.
Yeah. What about you?
I had to get that in before Ewu, because I know Ewu about to come in some fire.
Yeah, about this, I'm gonna double down. Me and you are in sync, man. We're like telepathically connected right now. But Buddy Hield, same thing, man. Buddy Hield annoys me when he gets those like top of the key 3-pointers, because it's like we forgot about him, and then there he goes wide open and he shoots a 3-point shot. Like two steps beyond the 3-point line. Those shots are gonna kill us, man. Shout out to Nicholas Batum. All those little annoying 3-point shots and stuff like that. We just have to worry. You just have to pay attention, man. Little things like that, because we're going to play extremely good defense, man. But sometimes when the ball moves enough, sometimes the ball moves faster than the defense can rotate, and sometimes we get killed that way, man. So we just got to limit those opportunities for Philly. And we, like I said, I'm so confident. I'm like so confident. It's like a little bit overconfident. It's like a little bit like I've never been here before. It's like like usually our Knicks are the ones playing behind the 8 ball, and we're worried if guys are going to do whatever. But this is the first time when we sit and watching. And it was just like, well, I think the Knicks can beat both of these teams here, man. This is nothing, man. So Interesting.
Yeah. And what's crazy is, like, if you look at it, Kyle Lowry, I feel like, as good as he is, and brings that veteran experience, I know Deuce McBride can shut him down. Like the quickness of Deuce McBride is going to be a little bit too hard for Kyle Lowry in his old age to really, make that kind of impact. But it is going to be the winning plays of what we have in Josh Hart, like the willingness, even at his age, to sacrifice his body, and die for a ball, that others might let go. But when it comes to the 76ers, like you guys were saying, the guys like the Batums and stuff like that, those are the ones that, if you don't pay attention to them, can be a problem. Same with Buddy Hield. Like, I don't understand how anybody gives Buddy Hield an open 3-point shot. Like, he's proven time and time again, year after year, that is not something you want to do, is leave this man open. Yet teams continue to do it. So that's something that we definitely got to keep on lock. Before we continue, I want to give some shout outs. We got 234 plus people rocking with us right now. Shout out to my guy D Nice in the building. Shout out to Nostalgic Nick in the building. Shout out to our guy Delano Steele Jr., the troll of all trolls, the only troll we really care about and acknowledge, because it's actually fun. It's hilarious. My guy Nice is in the building. Appreciate all you guys rolling in. If you can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to our guy Javi ATX Bodie. I think that's for Boricua. So Shout out, my guy. Appreciate the Boricuas in the building. If not, I apologize for being a racist Puerto Rican. Shout out to our guy, Regular Joe, chilling. RBL basketball with the beautiful takes up in here. Heck, what up, you racist? Heck is in the building. Shout out to my guy, Project Nerd HQ, my Morning Brew co-host. Appreciate all you guys for rocking with us. My favorite on Knicks Twitter. She's silent, deadly killer, always supportive. Shout out to Shanti in the building, always posting the merch that she supports us night in and night out, rocking the mug, posting the photos of the mug. We appreciate you. Speaking of mugs and merch, we want everybody rocking Knicks gear in the playoffs. So we don't even care about making a profit on our merch right now. We got a promo code. It's already crazy cheap, but now 15% off if you go to the store, Morning Brew Sports, any of our merch, our All-Star Jalen Brunson gear, our Josh Hart, our OG, our backpacks, everything 15% off. Use the code 2SEED. We just want people rocking it wherever we go. We know a lot of people are going to be heading in to Philadelphia since the tickets are going to be mad cheap compared to the Garden. So while you're taking that train ride over, we want you guys rocking your knit gear proudly. So please head on over to the merch store if you can, pick something up, rock it, take pictures of it, post it like our guy Swan does so we can repost. Any support is amazing support. So thank you guys all so much. While we're at it, before you guys, continue, check out my guy, Diehard Eru, his Knicks podcast, one of the best out there, giving the game calls. I got freaking his podcast sticker on my computer. No other Knick podcast got a sticker on my computer. So shout out to him right there. Shout out to Apollo. Follow him and the crew at Guard Up Knicks. Some of my favorites in the industry. We rocked last night till way too long. My wife was waiting to go to bed, like, hurry up and get the hell out of the room.
I felt on you guys.
So shout out to him. Shout out to my guy, Bully. If you're not following Bully, killing it on the spaces. If you love music and you love basketball, you need to be following this guy right here. He doesn't just talk Knicks, talks music, and not just hip-hop. He talks jazz, talks rock and roll, talks everything. He is well-versed.
Country, metal, all
everything.
of it.
That's my guy. So shout out right here, B-Man Boy 81. New Jersey Nets? Hell no. We ain't got that. All right, I'm going to be honest. All right, I don't know what that's all about, but nothing with the Nets. All right, this channel right here, we got Mets content. All right, we got Knicks content. We got Yankees content. We got Jets content. We're going to have Giants content. We only have New York sports content. There will be no New Jersey Nets content on this channel. Not happening. All right, we got a Liberty show coming out with Ebony and with Ace, and a whole bunch of other ladies that we love. So yes, we support anything New York, not the Nets. The New Jersey Nets, nowhere around us. Never, ever, ever going to happen. So let's keep going because I don't want to digress. I don't want to go crazy. But what do you guys think for us? We talked about their factors. Okay. One thing that's great about our squad is that we've had a lot of guys step up throughout the season. However, the one thing that's also been kind of hard about our squad is where we have to go, who is our number 2 tonight? There's always that question mark of who will be our number 2. We thought it was Julius Randle. He's been gone. He's gone. So who has to be our consistent number 2 when it comes to this playoff series? Because we're going to need some consistency. We need everyone to contribute, but we can't have Jalen Brunson be our only consistent night in and night out person. So who do you guys think has to be your consistent? Chat, I want to hear your answers as well. I see that Great Britain has said Devo's got to be it. Nostalgic Nick has also said that Devo has to be it. But who do you guys believe has to be our number 2? Shout out to JJP NYC in the chat. Appreciate you for locking in with us. Good to see new faces here. Regular Joe says Dante. Everyone seems to think Dante. So Apollo, I'll have you go first. Who do you think?
I mean, my first choice is Dante. You know what I mean? That's personally. I mean, there's another side to me that believes that if Bogey doesn't wake up, you know what I mean, we might be in a little bit of trouble because we need someone else, you know, to be another scoring option. The thing about Dante is a lot of his shots aren't self-created. You know what I mean? A lot of them have come within the flow of the offense. So they don't typically run plays for Dante, like a specific play. Like they usually run off of something a breakdown that happens. So I mean, typically, I think Dante has to be in the starting lineup. He has to be the second leading scorer. He has to. If he's not, we're gonna have trouble scoring there. So my pick is going to be Dante, but I think it's the Bogey needs to step up and he needs to be relied upon because, especially for that second unit, once those main guys come off the floor, you need to have another guy in there to be able to get something going.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Everyone in the chat, stay tuned because after we all answer this question, open panel will be open. We want to hear from you guys. We want to hear your questions. We want to hear your thoughts, your takes. So we will drop that open panel link right now. Jigga already did as I'm typing it. That's my man. But all right, Bully, who do you think needs to be our number 2?
So you phrased that question interesting. You said who needs to be the number 2. For me, I'm gonna go with OG, and I'm gonna go with the number 2, not based on shot attempts, not based on usage, but based on play style. We need someone that can draw double teams. And if you look at all the players on the roster, he has the physicality, the size, the ability, the technical ability. So for me, and if you look at the last 2 games the Knicks played, you notice OG started being a little bit more aggressive, more assertive, more his physicality. So, as we all know in the playoffs, games slow down. You're going to get into more half court sets, less transitional sets. So for me, I'm looking for OG to be more on ball dominant, not necessarily scoring, but drawing double teams, getting into the paint. Because if you look at our guards, how many of them really want to get into the paint? Josh Hart gets there by necessity, but that's not really, you're not going to rely on Josh Hart to be a number 2. Dante, there's been some questions about his finishing around the rim. So for me, it has to be OG just for the fact that he's big enough, strong enough to help defenders, to get other guys open, to get Dante those open shots, to get Deuce those open shots in the corner. So for me, I go OG.
Okay. That's what's up. All right, Eru.
Yeah, but before I answer, man, bottoms up, man. I gotta get this shot in. I've been stroking this booty on this cup for the longest time, man. I gotta get this drink in.
Yes, sir.
So, excuse me. Salute to everybody, man.
Salute.
My wife's gonna take advantage of me tonight. The way this is going.
Knicks Nightcap after dark.
That's a different kind of channel. Not camera off, Apollo, please.
That's the Patreon account. Right?
The Patreon.
It's called Guard Up Apollo. That's that tight defense. Right.
Well, I gotta agree with I-95 because when it comes to the offense, OG a lot of times passes up shots, man. But if the game slows down to the way that it did tonight, OG is gonna be open a lot for these little mid-range jump shots and cuts to the basket and stuff like that. He needs to look at the basket and at least attempt to score. If he could do that, he can get some shots going. I think that'll be beneficial. But I just think the Knicks don't really have a second option. We rely a lot on team basketball, man. So it's not just like one guy. Everybody has to contribute. Like Dante, sometimes he could be really cold in the first half. Next thing you know, he finished the game where he got 30 points by the end of the game, man. So so the ball has to move. The guys have to trust each other. They have to give it up for each other. I think the Knicks are gonna have to do that every single night in order to compete. And but I agree though. OG man, he has a lot of opportunities to score. He's just not like looking for it. But if he does, he presents an X factor for the Knicks, I think.
Yeah. And that's what one thing I don't get. He wanted more on ball responsibility in Toronto. He came here and the opportunity is there, and you have a 13 usage, 14 usage. So I need more. I need more offensively.
Right. So I agree.
So I'm gonna highlight a few takes before I give my own. Shout out to our guy Eddie Presti. He said bench needs to step up. Bogey and Deuce need to score double digits every night. I agree. We need that bench. We need that bench scoring. We talk about how, having the deepest bench gives us the upper hand, but if they don't perform, it doesn't matter how deep, they are on paper. We still need them to show up. Shout out to, Great Britain said Bogey, cool coming off the bench. He is, but when he does his thing off the bench, it's great. Watching him these last few games, I was impressed with, his confidence starting to kick in and him driving to the basket and stuff like that. It gives him a little more opportunity to play different roles. Joel ain't able to run with us every night. No, I think, our pace that has gotten a lot faster without Julius Randle. I think that is going to be hard for a guy like Joel Embiid at 70% to keep up with. So I agree with that. I got to agree with my guy Nice. Frank Ntilikina is our X factor. We need Frankie. We got
The
Frankie.
Prince.
The Prince.
Tons of great, quotes here. This is I believe this was for the Apollo Patreon account. My guy Andio said no Diddy laughing. So no Diddy moments.
No
on the
Diddy,
Knicks
please.
Nightcap.
No Diddies.
But to your guys' point, I do believe that OG is our factor. He has to be our second option, and the reason is if they are not double teaming the way that they used to double team Brunson. I mean, the way that they used to double team Randall, that makes the game harder for Brunson. And we want the game to be easier for Brunson. Like, this is not just a one-night performance. It's 7 possible games against the team. So we need someone to double team to free up Brunson so he's not the one always getting double teamed. And I think OG's really the only guy that can demand that. Also, if you look at the roster, I think defensively they can make it harder for Dante than they can for OG. Looking at their guys that are going to play defense against OG, I'm not really worried about them. If OG plays an aggressive game, I don't think that they have the defenders to stop him. So I think OG's got to be that guy. We got to see the OG that we saw when he first got here and we started our run, where he's not just at the perimeter, but he's cutting to the basket. He's driving to the basket. And I think in the first few games that he came back, there wasn't the confidence in the elbow, but I think it's starting to get there. And we need that for the playoffs. We need that assertiveness.
Let me ask you a question, Phil.
Yeah.
So you notice, like, in this game with Philly, like, Joel Embiid struggled with the high pick and roll, and like Tyler Hero missed a lot of shots. Like, I think he missed 8 pull-up 3-pointers. Like, if that's Jalen Brunson and Joel Embiid was dropping heavy on pick and roll coverage, and it's like, if you're not gonna come to the point and contest, like, it's gonna be lights out, man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he didn't have it. Like, you can tell every time that pick and roll happened, he was gassed. He could not even get close to Hero. So that's one thing that OG and freaking Hartenstein and Mitch, if he's in there with Brunson, need to do is not just make these like sloppy, real quick picks where you're already moving before Jalen even gets there. They have to be sturdy picks. You have to get their defender fully off of them where Embiid is too gassed to be able to jump out at him, because then that's a guaranteed bucket. So I completely agree with you on that. So we're going to start bringing people up on the panel. And what I want to do is I'm going to bring up our guy Bobby first, because I saw him come up. So Bobby, if you're there, give me a thumbs up and let me know that you're ready. What is up,
hey
Bobby?
guys, how you doing? I-95, I like your hat. See?
That's what Bobby Schmurd, that's what I'm talking about.
I like you and never met you before, and Apollo Reed. And Paul, Phil, I know you too. The Knicks are going to win in 5 against those smelly 76ers. Right? And we're going all the way to the finals to beat the smelly Mavericks. That's who I.
All right, Mavericks. That's your prediction.
And Die Hard, where are you from? New York?
Well, I live in Queens, but I'm from Brooklyn. I gotta say that I'm from Brooklyn.
What part of Queens are you living in?
Right now, I'm in Briarwood.
I used to live in Glen Oaks. You know where that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to live there. And what about you, Apollo?
From Harlem / Rockland County.
Oh, okay. I know where that is. That's where the Blue Bloods are from too.
Mm-hmm.
Annie lived there. And
All right, Bobby.
Phil, you're from New York too, right?
Yeah, I'm originally from the Bronx. Now I live
All right,
in
me
Florida.
too. New York. Yeah, I was born in the Bronx.
Let's go. All right, Bobby, who do you think needs to be that number 2 factor for us? The consistent number 2 option against the 76ers.
I like OBJ. What's his last name?
OG Anunoby?
Anunoby?
Yeah, like him. That's who I like.
That's awesome.
That's who I
You
like.
think you gonna try to make it to any games?
Well, I live up here in Vermont now.
Well, that's a little bit far. All right,
Hey,
so
Phil, one question for you. When is that Giants talk starting? You said the Giants channel coming in?
Yeah, so we had one, and we kind of shut that one down. We're gonna revisit. We're finding the right people to run it.
Let me run it. I've talked about the Giants. I'll talk about the Giants.
All right, well, hit us up in the chat, Bobby. So give us a let's go Knicks before we bring up Jonathan.
Yeah, let's go Knicks. Beat them in 5, baby.
All right, Bobby, we appreciate you, my guy. Have a great night. Thanks for locking in with us.
Night, man.
Sir.
All right, Jonathan, my guy. What up? How you doing?
I'm good. I don't think I like the Knicks' chances for this season. Honestly, I think this could be the best season since '99. And 99, I believe we lost in Game 7 of the championship. So hopefully it will be 99 with a different result, with finally breaking that, what is it now, 50 years?
Yeah, it's been a while. So tell me this real quick. I'm going to ask you a different question that we asked earlier, okay? Who do you think is the most valuable player on our team this season, not named Jalen Brunson?
I think it's probably Josh Hart.
Mr. Glue Guy himself. I like that.
I blurred out for a second. I'm not sure.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good. So Josh Hart, I appreciate that, man. Josh Hart has been great. Anyone who doesn't believe that he's worth his $80 million, I think you're crazy.
And
that guy.
It's nice to hear people again say they want to play in New York. You heard that from Hart and Brunson. Yep. Maybe if we win or if we get to the final, they will bring in young talent for the future going forward instead of just being a one-year wonder.
Yep. And here's one thing that I want to say about Josh Hart, because you bring up a great point. A lot of people want to come to something like once they think that like it's cool to be around that thing anymore. You know, like a lot of people will now want to come to New York because we're winning. But people don't realize how valuable it is for a team to have players that wanted to be here before it was the cool thing to do. So my favorite quote is from a movie called Almost Famous. And it said, the only true currency in this bankrupt world is what you share with someone when you're uncool. So what you can...
There's one thing I want to add to my comment. If you win in New York, you will be remembered for the rest of time. If you win anywhere else, nobody remembers who won. Did anybody remember who won the championship in '79 and made the last scoring point? I don't even remember that. I remember the Knicks. I don't remember. I know the Knicks won in 69, 70, and 72, 73, 73, 74, I believe. But everybody remembered winning in New York. Nobody remembers who won 2 years ago.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Jonathan, we appreciate you, my guy. We got a few others in the backstage. Thank you so much for rocking with the first episode, and lock in again with us next Wednesday, same time, same channel. We appreciate you always.
Appreciate you,
All
John.
right.
Yeah.
My guy, nice. You ready? Give me a thumbs up with that beautiful beard of yours. All right. That's my guy, nice, looking so fresh and so clean always. How you doing, bro?
We got to try to motivate diehard bully and Apollo to start growing beards, man. Come on, man.
I shaved.
I'm trying, man.
I cut it down right before we went live, bro. I had it go, man. I literally cut it down, man.
Hey, I'm just saying, bully, ain't no more soft Knicks right here. You know, we bully and we gritty over here.
These grades coming in, bro.
36 years. 36 years. This is all I could get, man. This is all I could get.
Hey, it's working out.
I'm gonna start telling people I got alopecia or something like that. I can't grow a
beard. For real. My brother's 2 years older than me, and he had been trying to grow a beard forever. All of a sudden, I decided I was gonna try, and within like a month, I had more than he had like 10 years of trying. So shout out to my brother and his little baby Puerto Rican face. I love you, bro. So nice. What are your thoughts? You know, we're going up against the 76ers. Give me a different take. How do you think we fare against this team? And how many games do you think that it takes before we advance to the next round?
I see Knicks in 4, man. I cannot sugarcoat it. I cannot listen. I know that there's a thing going on. Hey, jump. Are you in that scenario that you ready to jump out of the window? Now I'm ready to start smashing in my room, bro. Start smashing everything in my office because that's how confident I feel. Like our real X factor is the water boy, towel boy, Tibbs, assistant coach, Shake Milton, and Jacob Toppin. And with that, what I'm saying, of course, everybody's going to be saying but they not even the starters or the actual bench. Listen, if collectively OG, Devo, J Hard, I Hard, Dudes, Bogey, etc., if they recognize what did they actually did to help us have the opportunity to get to our 50 win, it's not literally just one person in particular. We need everybody. Like, bro, our brakes is pulled off. We don't even have a brake in our vehicle. The only thing is the accelerator. Do not let off of that accelerator until we ran out of gas. Mm-hmm. Literally, Coach Thibodeau, there's rumors saying that Coach Thibodeau, I don't know if you guys seen that commercial with Jalen Brunson and his grandma playing. Coach Thibodeau trained was the coach of Jalen Brunson's grandma. And imagine if Coach Thibodeau already got all of our players conditioned to play 60 minutes. I'm telling you, just leave dudes running circles on Embiid in the corner. He's not gonna last. That's it. I'm sorry to say it. I just don't see Embiid or Ramen indeed actually keeping up.
Yeah, I agree. Last question I'll ask you. Who do you think needs to be the consistent number 2 option to take that burden off of Brunson's shoulders?
Again, I like the only one that I'm leaning into is Jalen Brunson. The other players ain't no. I'm not going to be pointing now fingers in one player in particular. I need all players to continue doing what they have done to get us to our number 50 wins this season. Because there's many moments. J Hard, I Hard, OG, Deuce, Diva. It wasn't one in particular. It was all of them. There's one game in particular for Devo. There's one game in J Hard. There's one game in I Hard, etc. I need a game where everybody is in link, and I'm telling you, that's the moment that even ESPN and NBA they is gonna be like, bro, we never seen this, because we seen it. We seen it with each one of those characters having an exceptional game. But I mean, I want to see all of them having an exceptional game. So that's why I don't want to be pointing no fingers on one particular player. And we already know what Brunson is going to be doing in playoff, baby. I'm ready.
So the last thing I'll say to your point before moving on is I said it before the season started that this front office was trying to do things different. They were trying to sway away from the 1 or 2 all-stars and then everybody else being just mediocre players to support them. But it's been a full-on team unit. Like, yes, Brunson is our guy. Every team has a guy. but they have built this team from top to bottom with people that are willing to pour out their heart for this organization. So we got to shout out the whole team, and it's going to be one of those things that when we win it, we can actually say the team won it. Not that this player or that player won it, but that the squad won it. Everyone that gets a ring is going to deserve the ring, except for maybe Alec Burks. But, you know, it is what it is. So I appreciate you, Nice. Keep that beard going, brother. Bring it back next Wednesday. Always good to see you, my guy. I appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Have a good one, guys.
Salute.
Hey, yo, can I give a quick shout out?
Yeah.
Yo, my guy, Blood of the Panda, man. That's my guy. Man, I see you down there, bro, man. Yo, one love, bro.
Salute.
Seriously, Blood of the Panther's been our moderator since year one when we were doing this on another channel. And he has seriously been one of the most solid guys. And we got to connect with him the last time we did a watch party and an event in the garden. And that guy is family. So shout out to him and his wife for all the love that they show to us and the community. So shout out to him. Ron, if you're there, I know you were next. Turn on that camera. Give me a thumbs up whenever you're ready.
My guy, Ron.
All right. We bring in the most soulful sounding man on all Knicks content. This is the guy that if Apollo was trying to do a Patreon with him and his wifey, this is the guy that should narrate the whole thing. This is Mr. R&B himself, Mr. Still Knick fan, our brother Ron. What up, my guy?
My guy.
What's happening, fellas? I'm here. I'm freaking like held up in the bathroom because my wife's sleeping and I'm trying to be quiet.
Yo, that's commitment. Homeboy said, all right, first show, I gotta get on the show, and he's in the bathroom rocking with us.
You know how I do, Phil. I gotta be on all the first shows, baby.
Burgundy. There you go.
I thought this was about to be the platinum version of the Patreon channel. Platinum members doing the first episode from the bathroom. Oh my god.
Yo, this is going sideways. This is crazy. All right, Rod. So you've been rocking with the show. You've been hearing what we're talking about. What are your thoughts on? I want to switch up the question with you. All right, we know, you know, we're going up against 76ers, whatever. But a lot of people feel like for this season to be a success, that it has to be Eastern Conference or bust. If not, it's not a success. Some people say second round or bust. What do you think is the level of success that you personally measure this team needs to get to for it really to be a successful season?
I need us to get to the NBA Finals, Game 6. If we get knocked out in Game 5, no. But listen, this season is kind of tough, but I almost want to give the Knicks a pass, but I don't. You know what I mean? Because I feel like, I know some Knicks fans they're not thinking that way. And I'm rocking till the wheels fall off either way, but I still feel like, you know, this team is not whole without Julius being out there. So I'll be honest, if the Knicks make it to the second round and like lost in Game 7, would I be devastated? No. I would rock with them and say, you know what? I don't know how it happened, but all right, it is what it is. But honestly, I think the Knicks need to make it to the ECF. And I think this road this year, the first round might be the most, you know, iffy round. I know we could take Philadelphia, but Philadelphia could still be, you know, they could turn it on, they could get hot. They got a lot of savvy veterans, they got a lot of dudes who know how to play to the refs. So yeah, it could be a tough one. But we knock out Philly, we take on whoever's in the second round. I think this team could get to the ECF even without Julius. So I think it's ECF. Really, it's ECF or bust.
I agree. So I'm gonna hear everyone else's take on this one because this is actually a good question. So Bully, where do you think, like, you know, I saw your face when I said Eastern Conference. Where do you think like it is the level of success for you personally?
Like I think a lot of times like fans look at the ceiling and they say, well, this is the ceiling. This is like most teams, most players don't reach their ceiling. You know what I'm saying? But for me personally, you know, get past this round, get out of the first round. I mean, the amount of adversity that this team has had to deal with and still dealing with it. Like Mitchell Robinson is still not 100%. OG Anunoby is still working his way back into rhythm. So like there's still adversity to deal with while you're in the playoffs. Like and like the ceiling is ECF. That's the ceiling. But if the Knicks get knocked out in the second round, I'm not gonna, be disappointed. I want them to go further, but I'm not gonna be disappointed if they get knocked out in the second round. Granted, depending on who the matchup is, of course. But for me, I'm happy, second round. I want the ECF. They can do it. And they can beat Boston. They can beat Boston. And I'll wrap it up here. Boston's a team. There's not too many teams in the history of the NBA that has the statistical profile of the Celtics. It's just a fact. And, if you look at this year, there's 3 teams in the NBA, and I haven't looked at numbers, in a while, but they have top 10 offense, top 10 defense in terms of per 100 possessions and net rating. The Knicks are one of them. Like, they've done it. So I hear the ECF talk, finals talk, but I'm not going to complain about, a second round exit. I'm not.
All right. So I'm going to go Apollo and Eru. Let's keep it short because we got some people waiting in the back still. But what is the level of success that you want to see, Apollo?
I mean, as a Knicks fan, we always want to see a championship, of course. But I think this team, I think we can handle the first round. I think this team can really do what they have to do. The thing about this team is they worry about who's in front of them. And I think that's the biggest thing is just worry about who's in front of you right now. And we'll deal with that other stuff later. But I think we can go very far when you have a team like this built around Jalen Brunson and having an anchor like OG Anunoby. I don't see why this team can't make the Eastern Conference Finals at minimum. But am I going to be upset if they don't? No, because I kind of understand that this you don't have Julius Randle, you don't have a healthy Mitch 100%. So yeah, I get it. There might be a little bit, but every team is dinged up. But missing a whole star is something that not every team has to deal with. So I wouldn't be upset. I do want to see us get out of the first round. You know what I mean? I wouldn't be upset, but I'd be like, something had to go wrong for us to get eliminated in the first round. But that's just to me. As long as we can get out of the first round and get in the second round and just make a fight the way I know we could, I think we'll be all right.
All right, Eru.
Well, we've been through a lot the last couple of years, man. I'm gonna keep it short, but we've been through a lot the last couple of years. You want to talk about COVID? We lost a lot of people and stuff like that. So, I think even too on 2018, I almost freaking died that year. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of things have been happening, but so you can. I don't know. I don't understand why people don't appreciate the moment more than anything. So I mean, I think the season has been a success already. That's what I'm leading to. The season's been a success. I mean, because we started the season where Brunson looked like he wasn't the same. He wasn't passing the ball and stuff like that. At least that's what we thought. We ended up trading RJ and IQ away. Nobody saw that coming. We traded Quentin Grimes also. We brought in these guys in here. Nobody ever thought that this would be us here. And now we're here at the end. 50 wins, second seed. Now we're talking about rounds and this, that, and the other. My thing is we just need to concentrate on what's happening now and just realize that we are already a success. If you can get that, then everything else just becomes so much better, man. So that's where I'm at with it. I can't really say what's a success because I feel like we already made it there already. We are a success.
So I'll wrap up this question with saying it's a little bit of everything you guys said. At the end of the day, the season is already a success for the fact that we've overcome adversity that no other team would be able to do. Yes, there's been injuries, but most of them have been a lot short-lived compared to ours, haven't been to the magnitude of the amount of players that we've been without, yet we still fought, and we didn't just get into the play-in. We're at the second seed, so it's already a success in that, demographic. Also, the fact that this is not the same team. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, it's year 3. No, it's not. Like, most of these guys, haven't really been our guys till this season or halfway through last season. So this is a new Knicks, and this is the start of something great. This is the start. This isn't the finish line. The only reason it would still be, in my opinion, it would feel like failure is not because we have this certain thing that we have to achieve, but because our team is good enough that we should be in the Eastern Conference Finals. So we would underperform ourselves to not get there, in my opinion. So that's where it could feel like unsuccess, because it's like, dang, we knew we could have done it, you know, like we shouldn't have to wait to next year because we're good enough right now. So that's my thoughts on it. Ron, I appreciate you chilling in the bathroom and rocking with us. If you do not follow Ron and John, still Knicks fans, wake up, stop slacking on your life. Let's get these guys, you know, the love and support they deserve. They are the most supportive people in the community. A lot of people like claim their platform and they don't care about anyone else as long as they get their shine. This is the complete opposite when it comes to Ron and John. They are the ones that will give you the shirt off their backs. They will give you their subscribers. They will give you whatever to see you succeed. So thank you as always, Ron. I love you, bro. You are family. And until next time, I will be rocking with you. Yeah.
1 second, Phil. Can I do a shameless plug real quick before I go?
Heck yeah, of course.
And let me tell you, other thing I have to say is, regardless of what I said, when you put me on the spot with that question, in the end, it's not going to matter. You know why? Because everything I've seen and gone through without in life being a Knicks fan, it's in the name. Still Knicks fans, no matter what. It's not going to change. But shameless plug. I got two real quick. First off, if you guys are free tomorrow, I don't know what's going on for people, but if you're free tomorrow, got the NBA wrap up on NBK. We'll talk about the NBA playoffs and all that good stuff. But more importantly, at 9:30 on the front stoop, we got the wrap up with a very special guest. His name is Furious Floyd. This guy's got bars. He's super talented. It's gonna be dope. Now I'll be chopping it up with that guy over there with the nice smile in the back. Yeah, there you go, Ebru.
I appreciate you, Ron. Have a great night, bro.
One more thing, and this is the last thing. This is real quick. Obviously, it's open to all you guys at Morning Brew. You know this already. I've already reached out to Jigga, but Phil, Apollo, Eru, Bully. I mean, your takes are great. You're dope, so you're always welcome as well. I'm putting together another one of those content creator specials Saturday, 11:30. Know the Ledge. So all your favorite content creators are going to be coming out, and we're going to be chopping up and having a real good Knick conversation before the playoff game. So
I'll be there, bro. I'll be there. I'll talk to you then.
Man. Hit me,
man. Bro. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
All right. So I couldn't go a night with whiskey in my hand, talking Knicks, without one of the OGs of this. All right. He's been in the game for a while. You know, I love this guy. The first time we met in person, I just hugged him and it was beautiful. Big old beard. You want to talk about beard gang? This guy right here, you know, want to talk having a drink in your hand. I don't think I've ever seen him without one. So without further ado, this is my guy, the Nickinator.
Yeah.
What's up, OG?
What's good, gang? What's good, gang? Good to see all you. Apollo, what up? Eru, what up? Bully, what's the deal?
What's good?
Phil, you already know, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for that intro. That was dope.
Yeah, bro. So, you know, we've been talking, our Knicks. Where do you think this team goes in the playoffs? Like, how far do you think this team goes, and what is the factor that needs to happen? We've been talking about, like, you know, who is the guy that needs to step up? So in your eyes, who is that guy? Obviously, Jalen Brunson's going to do what Jalen Brunson does, you know, but he can't wear that burden on his own. You know, like even the greats. You look at LeBron when he was in Cleveland. You know, he had his other people that stepped up. You had Jordan who had Pippen step up. You know, you had, you know, even when Ewing was doing his thing, you had guys like Starks and Mason step up. Who do you think has to step up in this series, and how far do you think these guys can go?
So the guy that's on my radar, the guy I think that's going to be really key is going to be Deuce McBride. Deuce McBride gets a lot of minutes, and Deuce McBride has been a catch and shoot killer, man. Deuce McBride, you cannot give him space. And if these guys do the film work, they do the homework, they'll know that if you give him an inch, he's going to take the mile. He's going to let it go. So I think that guy, when we start talking about who's the unexpected, who's the wild card, who's the X factor, I think it's going to be Deuce McBride, because I think you're going to get what you get from Dante DiVincenzo. And, of course, he's key. I don't want to downplay what he does. Of course, Josh Hart is going to do what he does. All those things are the things you're going to expect. Quiet as kept, Deuce McBride has been amazing in the second half. Since the trade, with the opportunity, I think that first game or two, maybe he didn't have the smoothest transition, but once he got a roll, once he started
really clicking, holy moly, Deuce has been amazing in the opportunity given to him. And I was a big Quentin Grimes fan. I had some concerns about us moving him, but Deuce's play has really made all that go away. Deuce has been amazing. I also think he's the X factor because we've never seen him in this scenario. He's young. He's a young player. He's going to be. You're not old enough to remember Hubert Davis and the air ball, but you know he might be. He remembers that. But there's guys that have gotten an opportunity, and they're young guys, and they haven't. You know, they weren't ready for the moment. So for me, that guy, because he gets the kind of minutes and the kind of opportunity that he does, is Deuce McBride. To answer your question about how far we go, I'll be honest with you. I got to stick to my guns. I've always said, even after the trade, I thought our ceiling was the second round. But right now, the way the season has ended, the way that we've played, and the way things have been going towards the end of the season across the league, there are a lot of interesting things that have happened in the league. You see what happens with Milwaukee. You see what's happening with Philadelphia. A lot of interesting things happening. I don't see why we couldn't make the Eastern Conference Finals as long as we get past Philadelphia. So to answer your question today, I feel that the Eastern Conference Finals is our ceiling. Not that we couldn't go to the chip, but that's right now that's our ceiling. The Eastern Conference Finals.
I love that you said Deuce. Because he's one of those guys that his fearlessness is seriously like you can't copy that. Like you can't teach that. You know, like a lot of people, as much as I loved Grimes, because I was with you, like Grimes was one of those guys that I wanted to see be in a Knicks uniform because I really believed that he was going to grow into something. But his kryptonite was his lack of confidence. Like he would always second guess himself. You were like, what the frick are you doing? You're open. And then he would take the shot once the defender got there. That's when he built the confidence. Deuce McBride gets the ball and he shoots it. Like he's got that confidence. He's ready. And I think that's something that is going to be great because I feel like with teams, they're not like us. They're not watching every single Knick game. So they're not knowing that there's certain people that may not get the media attention that they're planning to make sure they keep on lock. They're going to leave guys like Deuce McBride open more times than they should because he doesn't have the reputation of being that guy, but he can be. So his like ability to kind of stay under the radar and still be crucial from three, I think is going to play a huge factor in the playoffs. And Tibbs believes in him. And so he's going to get those minutes. He's going to be able to perform. He's going to be able to play that clutch defense that he does. So I love that take, bro. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming out for the first episode. We got to have you on an actual episode with all of us. Just talking, having a drink, kicking it. We appreciate you. We love what you do. You love this community more than anybody I know. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming out.
My kids love him.
Yeah, everybody loves Nickinator. That's one thing. I've seen so many people hate each other in the Knick community. I've never heard anyone on either side have a problem with Nickinator. So that's like the common ground that everyone's got is Nickinator's like Big Papa for us all. So we appreciate you, bro. Love you, my guy. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Peace, bro.
That's my guy, Nickinator. If you're not following him on Twitter, please do. He's been putting out podcasts and Twitter spaces, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Shout out to my guy, Quiet Money Swan, always killing it, repping us out in Cali, always with the Knicks Morning Brew merch on. Appreciate you so much, my guy. I saw my guy, Corey Lee, step in, the guy that I love to fight with, but also love the OG. So shout out to my guy, Corey. Corey, look at that. Deuce is killing it. I told you, just give him time. And I was right. Now we'll bring up my guy, the regular Joe, also a part of the Guard Up Knicks podcast, sipping on some Four Roses right now, which is a brand that I know and love very, very well. So what up, regular Joe? How you doing, my guy?
What's going on, guys? Hey, Phil, cheers, bro.
Cheers, my guy. Appreciate
cheers.
You look familiar.
Cheers,
you look familiar, bro. I've seen you somewhere before.
Yeah. You look pretty familiar too, man. Real recognize real.
That's right. That's right.
So if y'all don't know, everyone talks about how Mia and Jigga actually being blood. Those two right there are actual blood. Like this is family, right?
No, we're not.
We're actually not. That's the crazy
You're
thing.
not?
No, see, Andre Jalil's my big brother, and Rick the Ruler is my cousin. This guy, he's family. He's definitely family, though.
All right.
Blood
So
couldn't make
you
his-
like Hector. All right, I got you.
Yes.
All right, so I'm gonna switch it up for you. All
He's
right,
the
we've been
Hector of the crew.
talking.
Hold, give me 1 sec. Give me 1 second, though, man. Give me one second, Phil, if you don't mind. Eru, what's good, bro?
What's good, my man?
Good to see you. Cap, you already know. I-95 Bully never got a chance to meet you, but Phil speaks highly of you, and honestly, like listening to you tonight, I mean,
I'm the worst.
He wasn't lying.
I'm the worst.
Nah. But my bad. Go ahead, Phil. Go ahead.
No. So we're gonna switch it up a little bit because someone asked a question. I think it's a really good question. Crackle Nuts asked earlier, do you think that the Knicks will trade Julius Randle in the offseason or make a big splash trade? And we talked about this actually this morning with Ian Begley, like on that episode. And I was talking about how, some people were like, yo, we don't really know what we're going to fully look like because Julius Randle is not there. And I said, actually, it's the opposite, in my opinion, because we've performed the way we have without Julius. And I wish Julius was here for this ride. I really do. Like, I wish he was able to, like, reap the fruit of his labor. But unfortunately, he's not. But with the fact that we are getting ready to be at a point where he's got contract talks that need to happen rather soon, this gives the New York Knicks a true understanding of whether or not they need to bring him back. And if they don't, because we excel in the playoffs, this gives us the opportunity to see with this roster what we still would need to do in the offseason if we were to trade Randle. So what are your thoughts? Do you think that we actually do trade Randle in the offseason?
No.
Okay.
No. I think that the front office remembers January very well. I don't know if you guys do, but I remember January where the Knicks ran roughshod all over the NBA, blew out the defending champs by almost 40, blew out Philly in their home in their place by 40. Something tells me that Leon Rose and company remember what that team looked like in January, and something tells me that they're excited to see that again next year. So, no, I don't think Julius Randle gets traded. I think that they're committed to Julius. Obviously, they love Julius. Julius has become part of the fabric of being a Knick, honestly. I'll be shocked if they move him. But anything's possible at the same time, right? Like, if the right deal comes along, like the Knicks got to look into, obviously, making that move. But I don't think they do. I think that they remember January and they want to see that again because that team looked unstoppable.
So I agree about January. Okay. My question is this, and this is where some speculation comes. He switched out of CAA partially in the season. Okay. He's no longer part of CAA. He gave us a discount last time. Now he kind of wants his money. According to Ian Begley this morning, the Knicks are very, very, very interested in making sure that they put Isaiah Hartenstein as a priority to sign in the offseason, and that other teams are interested, and he believes that the Knicks will match what other teams want to do. And he said teams to look for are teams like Orlando, who are young and have the cap space and have been interested in Hartenstein. And he believes that it is a priority for the Knicks to bring him back, even if it means giving him close to that bag. So with those kind of numbers, giving Isaiah Hartenstein the bag, giving OG the bag, which I truly believe that they will. I feel like that's already stars aligned. It might not work out to be able to give what Julius Randle would want in the offseason. So how do you think that all fares? You don't think that any of those things, like, kind of maybe some writing on the wall?
So I think it depends on what the Knicks think. Like, do the Knicks look at that January? I'm assuming Julius will be back next year, regardless of what happens with Hartenstein, because they don't have to make a decision on him now. Next season starts. This team comes in. They bring back the same crew, Julius included. If that team is just doing the same thing that they were doing in January, where they just look like they can't be beaten. Now you're talking championship, right? When you start talking championship, you pay the cost
Yeah.
to win said championship, right? Second apron, first apron, whatever it takes, like you pay those bills in order to put together a championship team. So I think that it depends on what the Knicks think about what this team is at when they're whole. You know what I mean? And I don't know what they think. I know what I think. I think that this team with Julius is good enough. I think they're good enough right now to go really far. I think with Julius, like, especially if Julius gets over the playoff hump, which there are some circumstances behind his struggles in the playoffs that we're not going to talk about right now. But if he gets over that, then I mean, listen, you're talking about something that's really formidable with the orange and blue come the playoffs, man. So
and I'm not for or against either way. Like I said, I like Julius Randle. I feel like he turned it around this year. Actually made me a fan in the fact that he was able to, stop making it the Julius show and actually like played some incredible team ball. I wish he was here in the playoffs. The only concerns I would have is now with the multiple injuries in multiple seasons. Now you're looking at extending multiple players who have multiple injuries. Like if you bring OG back, who has had multiple injuries, and then you sign Julius Randle, who has had multiple injuries. If you keep Mitch on, who has multiple injuries, you're starting to play Russian roulette with your season year in and year out, and that can get dangerous. So people in the chat been going back and forth. Some, believe that he's gone. Some people don't. Real quick, we don't have to do in-depth takes. Just real quick, I'm going to go around the rest of the guys on the panel and just give me your thought, yes or no. Do you think we extend Julius Randle, or do you think that we do not extend Julius Randle? What do you think, Bully?
No extension.
Okay. All right. I don't even want to hear why. I just want to hear the thoughts. Eru, do you think we extend Julius Randle, or do you think that if we perform well in the playoffs, we go another direction?
We don't extend them, but I think we keep them though.
Yeah, that's exactly. Can I just say that I agree with Eru? I think that they don't extend him, but I think he'll be a Knick next year, and then they'll ultimately have to make a decision at some point.
Right.
Okay. What do you think, Apollo?
Well, they took it out. Everything I was going to say. I was really going to say I think he's a Knick. I don't think they make any moves this offseason. But if there's a period that they do look to make any moves, it would probably be towards the deadline next year. But I don't think that he's extended this offseason now.
Okay.
I think they want to see. I think they want to see what they want to do.
So I'm gonna side with Bully, and also with Most High Monza Deshaun. Shout out to you. Jules played great, but that's why Leon's about to sell high. So if we talk about all the players that we've talked about, wanting to get, and how teams are not going to let certain players just walk, I don't think that the Knicks will let Julius Randle just walk for all the reasons that people are saying in the chat. He is a 3-time All-Star. He is one of the best power forwards in the league. So just letting him, after all the time that we've had him in a uniform, letting him walk without reaping the benefits from it, especially because we are not a team who values draft picks. We've shown that. So it's not like we're using our draft picks once he's gone to get his replacement. Like, we are going to look for his replacement in a trade, in an already established player. And so that's why I think we would end up moving him, because we would actually get something from him, as opposed to letting him walk and then having to hope that we find someone that's at least as good as him to be in our roster. I think in trading him, we at least reap some of the benefit of him being that 3-time All-Star, as opposed to letting the contract expire and then we get nothing from it. So that's my take on that. But we still got Eddie in the back right there. So, Joe, I appreciate you so much.
Hey,
always coming out and showing love. Yo.
Phil, before I go, one last thing. I don't know if you've seen Jimmy Butler possibly has an MCL injury. I know you guys been doing the show, so you might not have seen that. So he'd have worried about that. Also, I'm going to leave you with this. As they say on the radio, I'm going to hang up and listen. What do you guys think about the news about the Bogdanovich injury and possible surgery on his left wrist?
So I'll end with this. It sucks with the Bogdanovich injury, but I also feel like from what he's been posting in other spaces and Twitter and everything like that we've seen, this is the guy that's going to try to play through it in the playoffs. And that's one thing that I have to salute, like a player that can admit that he's got some, possible things going on, but is still trying to play for us. Like that is my old 90s Knicks, is, yo, there's the injury. I'm going to still try to play. So I got to tip my hat off to him for that. Did not know about the Jimmy Butler thing. That is crazy. Honestly, that would have been crazy if the Heat advanced and he had that MCL injury. That would have been a crazy.
Would have been perfect.
That'd have been perfect.
Would have been perfect. So, Eddie, we went at
What
it
is
this
up,
morning.
fellas? First off,
What is
congratulations on the new show.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Fully, congratulations. Good shit. Love the talk.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Right now, we got over 300 people rocking with us. Thank you guys so much for the support on episode 1. If you can, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Helps us with the algorithm. YouTube does not like giving viewership for free, so help us out so that we can get in front of more Knicks fans and we can continue to get this thing going. And for me, that's huge because I know when we started, Knicks Fan TV had a thing going on for some reason about the 76ers, and they had a whole episode on the 76ers. So the fact that 300 of y'all is still rocking with us truly means a lot. So thank you guys for the support. Hit that like button. Eddie, now that we have the 76ers, like I had predicted this morning, all right, what do you think the key factor is for us to beat them in this series?
Defense. This series comes down to defense. We got to shut these guys down. These secondary guys like Kelly Oubre, Maxey, any guys off their bench, we need to put a chokehold on them. They can't beat us. It's okay if, listen, if Embiid beats us, by all means, okay, fine. But we can't let these other guys, especially guys like Kelly Oubre and players like that beat us. That's what we got to focus on. Defense is our top priority.
Yeah. And, I'm going to throw it around to everybody about the defense. But if you look, Miami's best attribute tonight was that they kept the 76ers from scoring in that first half. Mm-hmm. But in that second half, it's like they freaking had amnesia. It's like they forgot to do what they did in that first half, which is kind of what the Knicks used to do, is they used to play a great first half and then have that third quarter of doom where they let teams back into the game, and that was our kryptonite. So for me, our defense has been stellar, but it's got to be 4 quarters of that stellar defense against the 76ers because I feel like, offensively, they can compete with us. Defensively, I don't think that they're up to par with us at all. But if we drop that standard of defense, that's the issue. So what are your guys' thoughts? I'll start with you, Iru. How important is it for our defense to be fully locked in for the whole game?
It's absolutely important because, like you mentioned, Embiid, if he gets off, fine, you know what I'm saying. But it's just those little guys, like even someone like Paul Reed, that game they scored like they barely. I don't think anybody scored 80. It was like a low scoring game, whatever. Like Paul Reed was killing us, just for the simple fact we allowed these guys to get a little bit of confidence and they started making shots and stuff like that. So I mean, allowing guys to get confidence early in the game, that's going to be the killer for us because I feel like the Knicks have gotten themselves in trouble plenty of times this season, just being soft on teams and allowing them to get that little bit of confidence that drags them all the way into the fourth quarter. Now we have to come playing uphill. Most of the time the Knicks have climbed that hill and won the game, but we can't survive the playoffs playing like that, man. Eventually we're gonna have to start these games off doing the right thing. Second half, we make those adjustments and really just put teams away. Hopefully we can find that mix and finally get our best game because even then. I feel like the Knicks haven't played their best game yet, as far as everybody playing well on offense and clicking on defense too, man. So there's a lot to look forward to. But it's very important for us to play defense starting off, man.
All right, Apollo.
I mean, I gotta agree, man. I think the problem that I do see us have every now and then is we have slow starts. And it usually starts in the defensive end. Sometimes we have this issue where we can't knock shots down. But as long as our defense holds up, especially at the beginning of the game, they'll let these guys get out in the break and start hitting, get into the basket and just, like the game that bothered me the most is not the last game we played against Chicago, but the game before that is when they started off and it was like a 9-0 run, and we just couldn't get back over that hump. We can't start the game like that. We have to get right on top of them. Pause. But we got to we got to make
Back
sure
to
that
we Patreon.
But we got to make sure that we stop that and don't let it get out of hand immediately within the first couple minutes. And I think if we can start the game off good and set a tone, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah, for me, I kind of, I agree with you guys, but where I kind of disagree with, Philly got lucky because if you go back to like the first quarter, first half, Tyler Hero missed 6 open threes. Yeah. That's the game right there. There wasn't because Philly played great defense. Like Philly missed a lot of shots. Mm-hmm. So for me, in terms of our defense, it's kind of what we mentioned at the top of the show, is that off-ball defense with Joel Embiid trying to play make at that free throw line, those corner threes, specifically with Oubre. But more specifically with the defense is Bogey's pick and roll defense, because Bogey, for the Knicks to be successful, Bogey is going to have to be on the court with Brunson. Like they're going to have to share minutes. It's not just going to be, Bogey, you got 5 minutes. He's going to have to share the court with Brunson, and Brunson, not a bad defender. He tries, he gives effort, but that pick and roll defense with Bogey, I worry about that because he always gets lost. He's not sure where his assignment's supposed to be. So for me, it's Bogey's defense. I'm not worried about anyone else's defense, but Bogey's defense, those 15 minutes, that's my concern, is Bogey's defense.
But Bogey might be on Batum, and I think that matchup favors us because they're both slow as shit. So if he gets that, if that's the assignment, that could be good for us. That's the only thing I'll say on that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the one thing I'll say, put them up in the second half.
Yeah.
Shout out to my guy Corey Lee. He said Eddie Tibbs has a game plan for the 76ers. This for me is one of those things where I always say, Tibbs, show it to me in the playoffs. He showed to me that he has raised his standard massive levels. Like our defense has been impeccable. This is the time to show us what we got. Like this is the time to show us what we have, and to show why he is considered a defensive guru. Like pull out all the stops against the 76ers right now, because I honestly think this is our biggest challenge to the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be this round right here. 100%. Because that next round with Embiid and the questionable injury and the Indiana Pacers not knowing how to spell the word defense, I think that round 2 is a cakewalk, once we get there. So this is where I need to see Tibbs win my heart. Like he's won me over this season, but give me what I'm asking for. Like, show up in the playoffs. Let's see what you got. He said, Phil, we have your boy, Deuce, to shut down Maxey. I agree. I feel like Deuce is going to shine. Nickinator had a great point that Deuce is one of those guys that's under the radar, and that's to our benefit. Like, him being one of those guys that doesn't make it into the news means that he's most likely not being planned for. And so if he can hit his shots and play the defense that we know that he can play, where we make Embiid be their guy, and he's only 70%, and he looks gassed, and he looks like those knees are hurting, we could take this. So I appreciate you, Eddie. I love you. You are family. This is our brother.
Not
following Eddie Preston. Follow him. He's mostly with us Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. Knicks Morning Brew. Bottom line, Eddie's bottom line is the best friggin' 2-minute recap of a game that you will find.
Gets
so
the people
support
going.
Our guy Eddie, and we will talk to you soon, my guy.
Shout out to you guys, fellas.
Peace, Eddie.
Let's go, guys.
Peace, man.
Have a good one, man. Peace.
All right. I got my guy Nelson in the background. Nelson, if you are there, give me a little thumbs up. All right. Let's bring up Nelson. What is up, my guy? How you doing, bro?
What's the word? Y'all can hear me?
Yes, sir.
I feel
sir, loud and clear, man.
Bully, Ebru, man, great show so far. I appreciate the content. So what's up with y'all, man? Hope y'all good.
Chilling, man. Chilling.
Good, bro. How you?
Like our guy
Good,
Legion
bro.
of Nick says, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Nelson, you know I always appreciate your takes.
Absolutely
so
appreciate that.
First, we've been asking a lot of people this on a few of our shows.
Mhm.
Who do you think is the MVP, the most valuable non-Brunson player on our team? Like, we all know that Brunson gets the award for most valuable player on our squad. But who do you think this season has won that second winner, runner-up from this Knicks squad? Who has been our most valuable player outside of Brunson?
I know he's only played about 25 games, but I'm gonna say OG Anunoby.
My guy, I knew you. I love
Because
you, bro.
18-2. Think about that January month. 16-2 versus 9-9. Where did the Knicks land? That puts you between the second seed and maybe 6, 7, 8.
Yep.
So I think that month when everybody it feels like the Earth 626, like another dimension, because it was 20 games and then like we
Interstellar. That's what it was.
Interstellar, yeah, something we'll tell our kids, 20 is that month they won 18-2, and then one guy left. That month was another thing. Shout out to Blood, man. Shout out to the playback. But yeah, I would say OG. I'm gonna also say in another thing, Dante DiVincenzo. Because he was the pseudo 2 option that nobody thought he would be. It was just knock down some shots to play defense. But the guy, because of a technicality, he didn't get MIP votes when I think he honestly should have, considering he damn near averaged 20 points, with Randall being out of him having to be the 2 option. So
yeah. And you know what's crazy about Dante, bro, is like no one thought, and this is one thing I got to give shout outs to Leon Rose. Like, you cannot enjoy this Knicks team without giving Leon Rose his flowers. Like, this is a guy that has taken a whole bunch of players that other teams saw as rotation players at max. Mm-hmm. Josh Hart, merely a journeyman everywhere else. Now,
he's
integral
home.
part of the team. He's home.
Josh Hart was a trade piece for 3 major trades.
Exactly.
And Portland, that was a trade dump for Portland.
Yep.
Exactly. And so they saw the diamond in the rough that was Josh Hart. They saw the diamond in the rough that was Dante DiVincenzo, the backup to this guy, the backup to that guy. This guy gets a few minutes here, a few minutes there. They saw something bigger. They saw something bigger in Isaiah Hartenstein. They saw something bigger in Deuce McBride. They saw something bigger in OG Anunoby. Like, they saw things that other organizations did not. And even Precious Achiuwa, like, if one thing I keep on saying that's crazy is you cannot hate Leon Rose and say, what have you done for me lately? Like we did last year, because we were all waiting to see what is this guy actually about. Like, there was a bunch of promise. We didn't see it. Well, everything we asked for, we've seen this year. All of these guys have had their best NBA season in a New York Knicks uniform this year. All of those guys.
I would definitely agree.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So, Nelson, last question I'll ask is, how far do you think we are going to go this year in the playoffs?
I think we could go ECF. With the Sixers, you guys have mentioned defense. That's the most important thing. I think if you let him do whatever he wants to do, I mean, he's walking around, for the wrestling fans, he's walking around like Matt Hardy right now. Like, he got boo-boo running down his leg. 75, like that knee is not functioning. I could tell he can't even close out on defense.
Nope.
Like, he was letting Caleb Martin shoot threes, which is crazy. But with him, I think making Embiid run, if he wants to get his 30 and 13, okay, that's great. But you got, like you guys said, Batum can't get nothing. Maxey can't get anything. Kelly Oubre can't get anything. Paul Reed can't. Buddy Hield, none of them. And most importantly, make those guys play defense, because Kelly Oubre is a decent defender, but Buddy Hield does not like playing defense
at all.
Batum does not like playing defense. Batum fouls. He does not like playing defense. So
yep.
I think it's that. Yep. And then when it comes to the second round, The Bucks, that Giannis injury smells like KD in 2019. I'm sorry. People don't want to believe that, but the same thing happened. He had a calf strain. He came back. His Achilles popped, and that was the end of that. So I'm not wishing that upon him, but that injury is a little testy sometimes. And with the Bucks, I think when they were 30-13, a lot of people didn't want to admit that, like, yeah, they scored 160, but they can't play defense. And then the Doc Rivers thing was gonna fix them, but coaching does not fix personnel issues. And I think
there you go.
I think with Dame Lillard, like, yeah, Dame Lillard's a great offensively, but he cannot play defense. You let Drew Holiday walk, and Drew Holiday was the key to that. Pat Beverly is not. I'm sorry, Pat Beverly. Maybe he might be a better fit when it comes to podcasting, but when it comes to playing defense, compared to Drew Holiday, that's two different.
You got to watch Middleton as well.
That's two different spectrums.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Middleton, guys like Robin Lopez and so on and so forth. So, but the writing was on the wall with the Bucks. I've said this since the beginning of the season. Giannis saying it's Dame's team. That is nothing but fodder, because if they lose, everybody's going to blame it on Dame Lillard, and then Giannis is going to talk about how he used to like eating Oreos when he first came to Milwaukee, or make up a story so people could not blame him for his issues. So I kind of see the Bucks being a little funny. And to be honest, you just got to make Dame play defense. The Knicks could have beat them except for that one game when they shot like ridiculous from three.
Yeah.
Like, remember that first game? If it's not for Dame Lillard getting 9 points in a minute on one ridiculous foul and 2 crazy threes, the Knicks would have won that game despite us shooting horribly. So,
and we were still in that game too. Yeah.
Yeah. Jalen Brunson had 45. It was really that minute and a half that really was the reason why they lost. So I think with the Bucks, they could take care of them. And I mean, the Pacers, they're a fast team, but the game slows down in the playoffs and they don't play defense. So
that's it.
I think they have a path. And then with the Celtics, I mean, we saw what happened the last game, but I really think if you make the Celtics have to play and they're not comfortable shooting threes, Jason Tatum will shoot you out of the game, and Jaylen Brown, I mean, dribble with your left hand challenge. See what you could do with that. That's pretty much it. And make that bench play.
Yeah. I appreciate you, bro. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We still got over 300 people rocking with us after 2 hours being live. Thank you guys so much. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Shout out to the newer people that showed up. Almighty Finesse, appreciate you. He said we going to the finals. Shout out to Ronald Duffney in the building. Shout out to Izzy Black. One thing that you said that really made a lot of sense to me is when you look at what's happening right now with the 76ers and Joel Embiid, we're talking about like how they don't really have true defenders, with him playing at like 70%, with his his legs looking like they're gassed, looking like he's a shell of himself. We also have to look at the fact that he looked like a shell of himself on offense tonight. Like, he is the biggest threat offensively, and he shot 35% from the field. Like, if he brings even a percentage of that to us, which we actually do have lockdown defenders, which we are leaps and bounds better defensively than the Heat are, that's going to be a huge issue for them. If you don't have to worry about Giannis, if you don't have to worry about Embiid 50% of the time because he's not doing what Embiid is supposed to do, then we should take that round pretty easily. And that is the only real threat. That second round, the Bucks are a mess right now if Embiid doesn't come back healthy. Like, they can't compete. They just can't. And the Pacers, like, come on, let's be real. Like, they're fun to watch, but that's it. They're fun. They're it's like the Harlem Globetrotters of the NBA. You get some entertainment out of watching them. But in a 7-game series, they're not going to be able to like pull it off against a team that's actually playing both sides of the game. So I appreciate you as always, Nelson, always dropping bombs. If you guys aren't following Nelson, please do. Always putting out great content, great takes. You have anything that people should be looking out for right now, Nelson?
I mean, I do a pod, Shorty Work Network. We're live every Thursday, 9 o'clock Eastern. We talk about everything: sports, gaming, life stuff. We watch Twitter. It damn near turns into ridiculousness sometimes. Where we're watching just stupid stuff and laughing. So, tap in with us. It's pretty much a stream of consciousness kind of thing. We did do a March Madness bracket about the best blog era rapper. So we're actually in the final four. Yeah, we're doing the final four in the championship. As a joke, we've been doing clothing brands from that time. So we did like a DGK bracket. We did like a Crooks and Castles bracket. Like we've been just having jokes on that and just, debating about that. So we're live tomorrow at 9 o'clock Eastern. I know sometimes the Knicks games are on, so we don't get people, but tap in with us, man. The link is in my bio on Twitter. This is my personal Twitter if you want to follow that. And no Diddy.
I do it and followed you, bro.
Appreciate that. No Diddy. You know what I mean?
No Diddy.
Link in the bio, bro.
Link in bio.
Thank you so
no
much.
Diddy.
Appreciate you, Nelson. We'll talk to you soon, my guy.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, that is all we have on the open panel. I think it was a pretty successful first show. It's only up from here. Shout out to everybody in the chat that's been rocking with us. You guys have been incredible. You will keep this going. Any final thoughts that you guys have? We got the game Saturday. Any final thoughts you guys want to end on?
I mean, after I finish my glass, I'm pretty much ready to say the Knicks going to win the championship, man. I mean, if this is how the show's gonna go, at the end of every show, I'm gonna be as positive as they get. So, yeah, I think we can go really far. I think this team is really, really good, and I think they really they want to prove to themselves that they can handle handle the cards that they've been dealt. So that's just my take. I think they can go really far, Eastern Conference Finals at minimum, and I don't see the Celtics really stopping it. So see how this goes.
Ebru.
Well, I mean, I'm just proud of the team, the way things are going. One of the panel the people that popped up, they were talking about 1999. I think it was Nelson, whatever they were talking about 1999. I'm looking at 1999 right now. We played Miami, we played Atlanta and Indiana. I feel like us playing against Embiid and these guys in Philly is like Miami, kind of the way they had Lonzo. Zoe was there and whatever. And then the second round was much easier where we smacked Atlanta. So I think that's going to be the same situation. If we make it to the second round, we're probably going to end up smacking that team. And then the Indiana Pacers is the last thing. And they were top heavy. They had the sensors. They had small forwards. Probably they had a full team there. And that's what the Boston Celtics have, man. So that seems like a similar matchup. So the two time periods they kind of paralleled each other. So I'm hoping that the Knicks can get some fire in the bottle, whatever, and end up doing the same thing and make history. But this time we have the size and we have the depth in order to take on a team similar to San Antonio. It could be Denver, it could be the Clippers or something like that. Hopefully we have enough to get through that. So I think we have a good shot to mimic what we did in '99. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
So you brought up a good point. I'm going to stay with that same time frame. That lockout season. Like the Knicks were not good. Like that regular season was not great.
Right.
And from what I remember, at least, I remember them catching fire in the playoffs. And like to steal a quote from Tibbs, like we have enough. There's no question of we need more, we need this, or we need that. There's Boston there with their crazy network. Like this Knicks team, like they have enough. And to steal a line from one of the contributors from earlier, like we need every single player that's available to contribute in whatever way that they can. And even for me, like sometimes, like, watching Jalen Brunson, I have a hard time, like, believing like, this is like a top 5 MVP guy. Like, he really should be like top 2, top 3. But, for me, with this team, man, I'm just proud that we have a team that represents us. And to what Phil was mentioning earlier, shout out to Leon Rose for finally someone coming in here and getting the stench off of the organization. It doesn't matter what they say on ESPN. It doesn't matter what Nick Wright says. It doesn't matter what Colin Cowherd says. Like, we know as Knicks fans that the stench is finally gone. Whether the outside noise, the outside people, whether they appreciate it or not, like, we know what we have. And I wore a jersey. I wore the Jeremy Lin jersey, Lin Sanity jersey, because for me, like, this is what I want to happen, like a Cinderella run this year, because like we deserve it. We deserve it. But that's it for me, man. Thank you guys for for coming in, tuning in, comments, likes, the shares, the retweets, man. It goes a long way for the guys at the Morning Brew, man. But thank you guys for having me. It was a great show. Ready for next week. Ready to get the show going.
Yeah, I appreciate you, boys. It was a pleasure. The only thing I'll close on is it's crazy to be where we're at. To have such high expectations after so many years of feeling like we were at the bottom of the barrel, feeling like we were the laughing stock of the NBA. At the end of the day, we know that we've been loyal. We've been true. This is our squad through and through. And so I'm excited. I'm excited for the show. I'm excited for what's going to happen with the rest of the playoffs. I'm thankful for the chat. Hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't. 300 plus all freaking 2 hours. You guys have been incredible for the last 2.5 hours. And we're back next week at 10:30. We got the game this weekend. If you can, check out some of the watch parties that are out there. Look out for ones that we're doing. And I'm gonna play this video real quick. There's this company by the name of Jack Abrahams, and they created like these really dope backpacks to highlight, different teams. And they had a really, really dope one for the Knicks. They hired me to do this little video, so I'm gonna do it. If you like us if you subscribe to the channel and you follow them on Instagram, you can be entered in to win one of these backpacks. So do it. Send us a screenshot showing that you did both of those things. It's Jack Abrahams. Subscribe to us on YouTube, them on Instagram. Show us that you did that. You'll be entered. Monday on Knicks Morning Brew, we'll pick a winner through the duck races. But this is that backpack real quick, and then I'll have my closing thought.
My life tends to look a little bit different than most. Whether it's the fact that I travel so much as a full-time photographer, videographer, and YouTube educator, or the fact that I spend a lot of time in meetings or traveling and doing events and creating content as co-owner of the Morning Brew Sports. Whether stepping on a train in New York City or stepping off a plane at Tampa International Airport or just traveling around and being a tourist with my wife and kids, I'm able to have the blue and orange wherever I go. And I'm able to show support to the team that means so much to me wherever I go. And it's never a bad thing to look stylish while I do it.
And all you Knicks fans, wake up and get your coffee.
So check them out. Really, really dope bags. Sick quality. Support them. They are just a great company to connect with. Good people. And the last thing I'll say, if you're a night owl, I'm not. I got a freaking flight mad early in the morning to go shoot a wedding. But if you are a night owl, right now, head on over to Twitter. My guy Deej is actually running a space. And from what I see, it looks like Chuck D and Lloyd Banks have showed up to be a part of it. So head on over to their Twitter space if you want to pull up, talk more Knicks, and see what's going on there. But until next week, we will see you guys then. God bless you guys. Enjoy this weekend. Enjoy your team. Represent. Like I said, pick up some merch from our merch store and rep your squad wherever you go. And until next week, deuces.